Okay. Now, where it's actually... Right, so... Last we left off, like, Shannon and Cannon had been talking about their love and stuff, and Cannon had confessed to Jessica. They also set up this weird kind of thing where they made it sound like only one of them can, like, succeed in their love, which doesn't really make sense, but something to think about maybe. Maybe there's some kind of setting there we don't know yet. Oh, so this is where you were. Shall I make you some black tea? Kumasawa-san, there's something I'd like to know. Oh, very well, what is it? My name is Beatrice, isn't it? Yes, that is correct. You are Beatrice-sama, my lady. However, the Beatrice that Father talks about isn't me. Well, I think Father wanted me to be that person. I think that might be why he was disappointed, because no matter how much I looked like her, I'm a different person. That isn't true. You are you, Beatrice-sama herself. You have merely lost your memory of the past after being newly reborn. Even without your memory, you're still Beatrice-sama. You are the same person whom the Master loves. So then, how can I regain those memories? Well... Beata looked at Kumasawa with hopeful eyes, as though praying that she would tell her the way. Kumasawa averted her gaze unhelpfully, as though trying to say that she'd like to, if only such a way existed. If I can't regain those memories, can't you at least tell me what kind of person the Beatrice's father loved was? That's complicated. That much I can tell you, but... I was born for Father's sake. So, I want to become the Golden Witch Beatrice that Father desires. Beatrice-sama. I cannot use magic. However, if the Witch Father desires could use it, then I will learn. I want to become the witch he desires. That's the only way I can repay Father for creating me. That's admirable. Without the 1,000 years gone wrong, she really is an incredible kid. A chick of a witch. Very interesting. I've taken a liking to her, Angie. I shall allow this chick to make use of my library. Let us open the door that leads back to the world of witches. So you're going to make her read aloud the stories about her previous self? Yes, I want to know too. The creation story of the Golden Witch Beatrice. Yes, give us Beatrice's backstory. I don't think we actually get what I'm thinking of until later, but... maybe we'll get something. Very well. If you wish it, then let us open the door once more. Kumasawa-san. Give me just 1 second, actually. I think my elderly cat took a shit where she wasn't supposed to again, and it's very stinky. 1 moment. Never been good with these. Oh, I set this house on fire on stream. Okay. I mean, the saving grace is she spends most of the day in a cat tree out there. And she's taken to going on a couple wooden chairs nearby. She actually went on both of them just now, funny enough, somehow. So it's at least easy to clean up. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult, but I love them. Okay. A golden splash welled up around them. I sounded out of breath because I was holding my breath during cleaning that partially because It's nasty. Nasty. Old cat. Very not solid. It was a cloud of gold butterflies. With a flash of gold, the form of the old lady transformed into that of a witch in a dress. You must choose the path that you are to walk down. Let us call it a path of roses. The beautifully blooming roses may encourage you, and their thorns may torment you. But even so, it is a path that you walked down before. You may pass through the same 1,000 years. You may pass through a different 1,000 years. If you wish, you may even return back the way you came. I'll move on forward. I don't want to spend 1,000 years in this garden drinking tea. I, Beatrice, was born for father's sake, so I want to live for father's sake. Please tell me about the Golden Witch. The Great Witch spread her arms, communicating the other's unbending determination to the brilliant heavens. At that moment, a brilliant light covered the two of them. Let's look closer. That's probably about right. And before they knew it, they were in a strange study. Mobile notifications were late. Drat. I like to move them around just a little bit every time. Just a little bit. So let's see. You can be... You're like this today. I don't really know what to do with Rika. Alright, you know what? Hold on. Let's see. So I'll put her there. Matt, Pat, go. Today he can be like mini Matt Pat. Here we go. I like the looks of that. I think that's good. There sat the master of this library, the great old witch and her Miko. Virgilia gave a deep and elegant bow. It is the greatest of honors to be in your presence, Lady Featherine Augustus Aurora, the majestic witch of theater-going, drama, and spectating, and no masts, and the 4 seasons. Raise your head, child of man. I shall give that child the privilege of using my library however she likes for a time. Angie, my Miko, you will see to her needs. How does this even really make sense on a meta level? Like, they kind of make it out to seem like Angie and Featherine are like on a higher level than everyone else. Because we know like Hina Beatrice is on the same level as Meta Battler. So does that mean that Battler could come here and see Angie anytime he wanted? It's a real mystery. It's a real mystery. It's a metaphor, I guess. Sure, as you wish, my master. You know, you could just say, let me read your story. Miko, the Witch of Theater Going. I leave Beatrice in your care. Pleased to meet you. The Beatrice you're trying to become was suffering from something in her own way. At the very least, you've been released from that for the time being. Will you really go on a journey to regain those shackles? Yes. I want to become the Golden Witch. That is the reason I was born. So it's like the difference between admin and a host, huh? I, the Endless and Finite Witch, Publius Virgilia Morrow, that is the first time that name has come up, and I feel like it's probably the last one. Ask that you make her journey through purgatory a pleasant one, granting her your protection. Huh? Oh, let it be known that as the Miko of the Witch of Theater Going, and as the Endless Witch and Apprentice Witch of Resurrection, I, Angie, Beatrice, do humbly accede to your request, or whatever. Featherine snorted. She tried. She really did. So, you also read the name of Beatrice. Everyone does. Everyone's Beatrice here. You must be new. You must be really new. At one point, I think... didn't Erica even temporarily go by Erica Beatrice? I'm probably making that up, actually. But of course, we have Maria Beatrice. We have Ava Beatrice. Not like we've seen her in a while. It was kind of a one-off thing. Or was she? Or was she? Spoilers, she'll be back one day. That's right. I know a lot about you. Please teach me. What kind of person was I? I love Hina Beatrice's faces. Sure. I don't want you to teach me. Why did you become the person you were? Sounds like both of you are lacking critical information that you might need in order to make this process happen. In this library, the fragments showing the tales of all your games up until now are stored as books. By reading them, you should be able to learn everything that has happened before now. By reading them, can I become a golden witch? To become a golden witch, one must solve the epitaph of the gold. I said the same thing last stream reel. Yeah, we really should. If someone wants to donate the money, I will go commission. I don't know what his prices are. I'm gonna go look. I wonder what his prices are. I'm gonna go take a little look. Wow, I sold an item on the Steam Community Market for 12 cents. Cool. Let's see, he's got a scab. I mean, to be fair, I could probably just ask him to do it, and if he's a good person, he would do it for me, considering I've done a lot for him. Oh, don't go look at his scab. God damn it. Okay, so the stuff on his scab isn't technically porn. Alright. I didn't need to see pregnant Toho characters today. Alright. To become a golden witch, one must solve the epitaph of the gold. And this trial cannot be skipped, not even by Beatrice herself. I'll do my best. So please, let me read the books in this library. As admirable as ever. Why are you so set on ending up like that again? I do not know what I was like then. However, if that me can be of use to father, I want to become it. Angie sighed. Resignedly? No words would stop this girl's feelings of respect. Angie was the Miko the Witch of theater going. She could do nothing but watch over the stage. That's right. They weren't actually interfering with the play. This was just a bit of directing, to shine the spotlight onto the tale of Beato's past. Even this was nothing more than the Witch of theater going watching a play. If you read, you will learn what kind of a person the old Beatrice was. However, you must decide what you will take from that experience. You are free to stay in this library, or leave it, or even return to it again later. In exchange, I will watch your play. You watch my play? Basically, it means you can do whatever you want. Thank you very much. She likes it when you call her Featherine. Thank you very much, Featherine-sama. After being welcomed in by Featherine, Beata left on a journey to discover herself. And she was never seen again. That tale connected the old tale with the new one. It wove them together. The 1,000-year-old tale about her returned to its starting point, becoming a snake eating its own tail. It's okay, you can just say Ouroboros. We know what the Ouroboros is. Everyone knows about the Ouroboros. The ring of that snake began slowly, bit by bit, to turn into the shape of a small island floating on the sea. And that was Rakenjima. The 1,000 years of the witch born on this island were tied to the island. Was it 1,000 years, or just 6? Or did this tale start even further back into the past? Beatrice went out on a journey to find herself. By the way, Lavender Toho is on sale. Lavender Toho 2. You can go buy it off Steam. It's got like, what, 25% off? I gotta tell people because 3Peso has not posted it yet. But I gave him a heads up that it's on sale because he might not even know. It's probably the publisher's Cube Type that put it on sale or something like that, so he might not even know. The wind had been strengthening since a while back. The breaking waves had grown fierce. The ferry boats probably wouldn't be coming for a while now. The crashing thunder told that the island had been sealed off from the outside world. A thick rain poured down, mocking the fools outdoors who had to rush pathetically to find shelter. No longer would anyone be able to leave this island, and no longer would anyone be able to reach this island. No one, unless blessed with a miracle. There was another flash of lightning. The retinas of all who saw it were filled with white. As that white faded away, an eerie shadow pulled itself up amidst the raging waters of the beach. Yeah, I saw that. I actually grabbed, Artificial Dream and Arcadia myself, because, like, if, what is it, like, less than $1 right now? You'd be silly not to, really. As though suddenly remembering to do so, it coughed violently several times, filthily spitting out the seawater that filled its stomach. She then tore apart the touch fastener of her life jacket, and threw down the reason she'd been able to float here, without so much as a thank you. Yeah. Welcomed in by a storm, same as always. Very good though. Yes, come and entertain me, Battler-san. Yeah, it sounds like you get a lot of hours out of it, that price. I hear it's gonna be the last big sale. Erika literally just landed on the island, nearly drowning, and is already, like, laughing as she acts out water. I'm not really a big SMT fan. I don't know that I really actually finished... I finished SMT 4. I think that's it. Like, I played a couple of the Persona games, didn't finish them. I tried a couple of the other SMTs. I tried Strange Journey. It was okay. But... I mean, I like the genre well enough, at least. I think I prefer Etrian Odyssey, honestly. But... if I ever want to play it... now I have it for less than $1, so... I can't really complain. News of the Drifter, footed to Erika, quickly spread across the Rakenjima. Erika had been welcomed politely. Big mistake. It was decided that she would be treated as a guest until the typhoon passed. Oh my god. In the dining hall, Goda's wonderful dinner had ended, and everyone was relaxing and enjoying some after-dinner coffee and cheese. Apparently, Bao was a bit relieved that Erika had come and turned into a good scapegoat. It drove away some of the attention he'd been getting piled on him, for finally coming back after 6 years. In fact, she turned out to be very talkative. When the conversation turned to a sophisticated discussion of the mystery genre, even the adults were drawn in. She was apparently so well versed that even Nanja, with a vast knowledge of the subject, was impressed. Good point. A strange family in a western mansion on an isolated island during a storm. Now that we have a detective stopping by to take shelter from the rain, we've got all the major factors lined up. Have no fear. No matter how difficult the crime, I will solve it. That's a detective's job. How reassuring. It almost sounds as though you want a bizarre crime to occur. Oh, who's here? It's Juniper. Oh, you know what that means? It's another Juniper camera day. How reassuring. It almost sounds as though you want a bizarre crime to occur. I hope I don't have to play the part of the victim. You could be the killer if you want. Dear, you mustn't say such things. Well, the history of the human mystery genre is only about a century old. Its tricks and ideas are limited to a few recycled patterns, so there's nothing left to show. No matter what kind of impossible crimes or closed-room murders might occur, it'll be nothing more than one of the same classes of tricks dressed up to look like something new. The only reason mysteries still make for popular books today is because self-proclaimed fans, those who work off piece-together knowledge, and who have hardly read any of the classics, mistakenly think that a classic trick they didn't know about, through lack of proper study, is actually something new and surprising. Everyone couldn't help but gape at this imposing claim. If an age critic had said it, that would have been one thing. But to think that a young person like this could say it so boldly. Mystery is a genre that ended a half-century ago, at least as far as I'm concerned. However, thanks to countless ignorant fools, I get to play my part as a detective. By that argument, wouldn't it mean that romance was perfected back in Shakespeare's time, so everything after that isn't worth reading? Exactly. So if you just read Romeo and Juliet, it's the same as having understood all of romance. Shut up. She is so insufferable. That's ridiculous. Thank you, Valor. It's not like there's any need to read more books than everyone else just for its own sake, but on the other hand, you can't be so satisfied with just a few stories like that. Sticking to classics of the past and never reading anything new is a sign of excessive nostalgia, don't you think? Plus, like, plot twists and, like, the actual story beats are one thing, but that doesn't account for writing style. Like, two different people could write the same story with, like, totally different tone and, like, different ways that the character's talking and whatnot. This is like saying, like, oh, sorry, Dragon Quest finished everything RPGs had, so Undertale has nothing new. That sounds to me like the excuse of an old person who can't be bothered to read more. I see. I guess I'll need to read it at least as much as you, or else I'd probably lose in an argument. Me? I don't read books. Balor chuckled, but Erika knew from the previous game that Balor was actually quite an avid reader, so his words felt like more of a challenge. If you're so confident in your reasoning abilities, you must be really good at quizzes and puzzles, right? Oh right, Mario, didn't you bring a quiz book or something? Ooh, brought it. Realizing that Erika's arrogant statement had made the atmosphere a little more tense, George smoothly changed the subject. By now it was more than clear that she wasn't the cute guest she had appeared to be. Mario pulled a book out of her bag that had quizzes and puzzles written on it and started reading them to everyone. It looked like it might turn into a quizful piss party. Peaceful quiz party, but of course, that isn't what happened. As a credit to all her big talk, Erica managed an impressive ratio of correct and immediate answers. She took complete control, and her bragging began to escalate more and more. George slightly regretted the choice he'd made when changing the subject. As always, all of her points in intelligence, 0 in charisma, 0 in wisdom. Pure int, insufferable maniac character. Wisdom is the ability to read the room and shut up, and she doesn't have that. 106 matches. No need to even write a tournament chart for it. The question, how many matches would you need for a tournament with 107 teams, was answered instantly by Erica. This is less of a puzzle than it is a test of knowledge. There's a formula which shows that number of matches is always the number of teams minus 1. Well, if you just look at the examples showing 3 matches for 4 teams and 7 matches for 8 teams, it should be easy to figure out the pattern. Ooh. Erica, that's awesome. Erica Nachan, right? Say it. Ooh, Erica Nachan, that's awesome. Really impressive. So you don't call yourself a detective for nothing. I could very well act the part of a detective if I wasn't capable of handling puzzles of this sort. Completely incredible. I'm sure you'll be able to become a real detective in the future. Well, I'm pretty sure I already am one. The cousins all thought about the answers to the questions, but Erica always answered first. Rosa thought it was a bit rude for Erica to say the answers out loud while people were still thinking, instead of keeping them to herself. But since Erica was a guest, she decided against mentioning it. In truth, Erica was perfectly aware of this when she answered the questions instantly. Each time, she would grin broadly, as though saying, "You all still haven't solved such an easy problem?" A great detective like you shouldn't really need to take these too seriously, right? Good point. Even though these are just childish questions, it's getting a bit too serious. I'll take more care, so let's have the next question, please. Alright, I won't lose this time. Maria, next question. You have 1 large piece of cheese. A single slice with a knife can split it into 2 parts. So it is the lowest number of slices you could make to cut it into 8 parts. Ooh. Oh, I know this one. So I guess I'll stay quiet this time. George, acting like the adult he was, said of a mood that would prevent people from answering right away even if they knew the answer, in effect sending a warning to Erica. It seemed that Erica understood, and she averted her gaze, snorting derisively. To make 8 pieces, 4 slices would be enough, right? That's dumb. It would hardly be a puzzle if that was the answer. Haha, that's right. These are usually set up so that a smaller number than you'd expect is the answer. But still, how exactly could it be done? Oh, got it. You only do this because it's cheese. True. If you try to do it with a birthday cake, there'd be a huge fight. Aha, that's right. You might be able to do this with cheese, but you'd never cut a cake like this. Huh? All of you know the answer? Damn, am I the only one who doesn't? Oh, I've got it. Yeah, I've got to think 3-dimensionally. Wait, even Jessica? I don't get it. What should I do? Hee. I know the answer. It's written right here. Hee. You didn't know the answer until you looked, right? Get it, Battler-kun? Let your daughter have a win for once. I see. I understand it as well. This is something you can do because it is cheese. Yeah? Even Dr. Nanjo? What do you mean, even Dr. Nanjo? The guy went to medical school, I'm sure. He's smart. Could it be? Am I the only one who doesn't get it? I'm sure even your brain could be as flexible as cheese if we cooked it a little, Battler-san. It isn't something like use 0 slices with a knife and break it apart with your hands, right? Of course not. It's a small bomb's level guess right there. It's impossible to cut this cheese with anything other than a knife. Think of the cheese in 3 dimensions. If that's hard, it might help to draw a picture on a paper napkin. So we have 1 large piece of cheese, right? Then we use a knife to make 8 pieces. Can the knife only cut in a straight line? Yes, that's right. The knife only cuts in straight lines. Oh, but here's a hint. You can only cut in a straight line, but you're free to cut it wherever you want. Try thinking of a bunch of ways to stick it in. Please don't say it like that, Dad. Dad. Okay, it's not really as... It's just English mind. You should probably try to think out of the box a bit. Show us what you've got, Battler-kun. You have a large piece of cheese. How many times must you cut it with a knife to make 8 pieces? You could obviously do it in 4 cuts. Could it be done in even fewer cuts than that? Our hints so far point to it being possible specifically because it's cheese. If it was a birthday cake, you really wouldn't be allowed to do this. cheese. Cheese. Something you can do because it's cheese. Oh, oh. Juniper, you're moving too far back, honey. There we go. I think they're hinting at something like that, yeah. I mean, couldn't you also... I mean, I was thinking 3 slices initially by going once, like, horizontally, once the other way, like, on the top, just like you were cutting normally, and then cutting it through the middle from the side. But maybe if you do something diagonally, you could do it better. I've got it, I've got it! I was totally tricked. This isn't something you could think of if your mind's all stiff and rigid. Seems like you finally hit on it. Hopefully it actually is the right answer. It's impossible to cut the cheese with anything except the knife, right? The knife can only cut a straight line, right? There aren't any other rules, right? Right? Ooh, not really. Alright, then that's gotta be it. Ooh, that was a tough one, almost like a riddle. You just gotta get beyond cutting straight down from the top all the time. You make 2 cuts from the top to get 4 pieces. You keep it like that. Oh, okay, so Jessica's saying what I was saying, actually. This is what I was suggesting. If you keep it like that and cut across the sides, putting it into upper and lower halves, you get 4 times 2 equals 8 pieces. It's an answer you can't reach unless you think 3-dimensionally. In other words, the correct answer is 3. Huh? Really? I thought the correct answer was 1. I assume maybe Batler's gonna say, oh, the cheese, like, is in a really weird shape or something, and it's, like, already pre-cut, or, like, it's a cheese donut with a hole in the middle or something silly. Let's see what he says. What kind of magic did you use? There's no way in the world you could manage it with 1. This isn't a riddle, it's just a normal math problem. Huh? Oh, really? I thought of the 3-cut method right away, but I figured that was too easy, so I guess I tried to twist it too far. Battler's answer is smaller than the one in the book. Is Battler right? Yes, he is. Shut up, Erica. Battler-san is right. They're correct. No, Erica says 0. Erica has to win. She's going to say it was 0. The correct answer is 1 slice. Battler was happy that someone had confirmed his answer. However, at some point, Erica's face had lost its seriousness. To think that a human other than myself would give the answer 1, and that it'd be you of all people. Your answer was 1 too, Erica? I guess you were also thinking out of the box. After all, it would be truly foolish to simply assume you knew what shape it was after hearing that it was a piece of cheese. Yeah, see? It's based on you thinking it's just like, you know, regular cylinder shape like cake or something. That's impossible. Onichen got it wrong, didn't he? How could you cut it into 8 pieces with less than 3 slices? How foolish, child of man. It says to cut it into 8 pieces, but nowhere does it say that they have to be equal size. It's still impossible. Do you cut it with something other than a knife? The rules say that only the knife can cut it, and that the knife can only cut in a straight line. However, to turn it around, the rules do not say anything besides that. I would think, given it's a children's picture book, there'd be a picture of the cheese, probably. But maybe not. In fact, the shape of the cheese is never specified. I see. When you all heard a large piece of cheese, you thought of a flat cylinder like camembert or something. I was thinking about sliced cheese, like the kind you might put on your toast for breakfast. Because, you know, full blocks of cheese you'd cut with a knife aren't something I come across that often. The shape of the cheese isn't specified in the rules. That doesn't mean you get to decide it. A mistake by the ones who made the book. I imagine that there's a picture of a flat cylinder cheese there in Mario-san's book. Yeah, see? See? Ooh, there is. Okay, well, Erica, are you gonna say that that picture is a narrative trick? Oh my god, I want to slap her. Right here. We can't trust the narrator in the cheese book. I don't want the Erica crown. Take it back. The Erica crown is the fucking blue Twitter checkmark. Erica would have Twitter blue or X blue or whatever they're calling it. X premium. Elon's badge of approval. As Erica had guessed, the book Maria held had an illustration of a piece of cheese just as Erica had described it. With cheese of this shape, 3 slices really would be the correct answer. You cut it in a plus pattern from the top to make 4 pieces, then cut it from the side to double that and make 8 pieces. So I'm glad I came to the normal person answer. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm correct. Unless we go with like, endgame Layton puzzle, a whole bit, you didn't think of this? I don't like Layton because it's not really as much of like, actual... Okay, well, I guess maybe riddles are deceitful from the start, but the puzzle just, they can just be asshole-ish sometimes. Junie, what are you doing? I'm breathing kind of heavily, honey. Oh. just getting comfy. However, since this illustration hadn't been shown, the interpretation of the cheese had been left to the answer. No, this is a book for 4-year-olds. It's supposed to help you learn to read and learn basic math. That's right. At the moment the problem was stated, no one said anything about how the cheese was shaped or how flexible it was. Have you ever seen a room full of that guy before? Because everyone here is being that guy right now at the D&D table. Exactly. It seems the Bauer-san was the more flexible one when it came to both brains and cheese. I don't get it. How does making a sliced cheese let you cut it into 8 parts with a single knife slice? Why not try it with that paper napkin? You're gonna fold the cheese over. I know. Pretend it's sliced cheese. It's like this. You fold it accordion style. How many times do you need to fold it to make 8 sections? 6 times. To fold it accordion style, you alternate between upward and downward folds. Once you've done this 6 times, it looks like the side of an accordion. With normal cheese, it'd break if you tried to fold it like this. But the rules say that this cheese can't break unless you use a knife, right? Yes, no problems there. Well, okay, you can do it with a cake, too. Sure. After all, this is magic cheese that can only be cut by a knife. After folding it, he illustrated this. Why did they illustrate this? After folding it, if you start at the top and make a cut right down the middle. You're right. Sugoi, it would make 8 parts. Well, wait a second. The parts aren't all equal this way, right? All the questioner said was to cut it into 8 pieces. They didn't say anything about them being equal. Well, if you change the way you fold it, it is possible to make them all equal sizes, but I wouldn't want to confuse you stiff-headed people with the explanation. I hate to say it, Erica, but as smart as this admittedly is, if you were Maria in elementary school, and you tried to submit this as your proof, you'd be told to meet with the teacher after class. Hehehehe. Oh. For a while, everyone was stunned. Ballard reached a far better answer than 3 by thinking the problem as a riddle. Erica had already known both answers, and even spotted a mistake made by the book. The others could do nothing but stare at those two in surprise. Alright. I remember what I did last time I brought the camera down. Baldy wants to see you after class. Wow, I can't believe you solved all my math problems. Good job. Yeah, incredible. So we were the stiff-headed ones? What an utter defeat. We were thinking in 3 dimensions, but it looks like Ballard and Erica-chan were thinking in 1 dimension higher. Hold on. I move this thing out of the way. Camera stand. Hey. Alright. There we go. Now we have a good angle. It seems the game of the witch has toughened you up quite a lot. Puzzles without specified rules, in other words, all things not covered by the red truth, are up to the observer's interpretation. It's the most basic of methods for constructing gaps in the witch's closed rooms. What are you talking about? Is that a quote from some novel? Well, let's call it that for now, shall we? Anyway, I guess this means that everyone's brains are stiff as rock-hard cheese. You're the rotten cheese. Without any signs of restraint, Eric looked at everyone and laughed sarcastically. Only Maria didn't notice the venom in that laugh as she happily turned to the next page. Ooh, then on to the next problem. You have 3 cups and 6 coins. Split up the coins so there's 1 coin in each cup, 2 coins in another cup, and 3 coins in the 3rd cup. Ooh. Wait a sec, that's easy. Just stick 1 coin in the first cup, 2 in the next one, and 3 in the last one, and you're done. Alright, can you do the same thing with only 5 coins? Yes, I already know where this is going. You just put one of the cups in the other cup. But what's Erica gonna say? Here's another cliched problem. Don't tell me that all you need to waste several precious seconds on a problem like this. By now, Erica was gazing around with an unpleasant look, acting in a manner that was completely inappropriate both for a guest and for someone of her age. Does she want to make everyone hate her this quickly? She was no longer a guest who would be staying until the storm passed. Yeah, because they're gonna kick her out. She was transformed into an annoying guest who wouldn't leave until the storm passed. Yeah, it's fine. Don't tell me that you will all need to waste, It's fine. You could also just say it with you, but it is correct enough, yeah. I think I just, like, slurred the sentence and maybe added an word or something there. I wasn't gonna say anything. Everyone thought this, but they weren't able to say it aloud. Oh, right. Speaking of problems with coins, I've heard that picking up coins is a good way of judging someone's skill with chopsticks. Chopsticks! Yes, chopsticks! That's right. Chopsticks are the most elegant utensil on the planet. Poking things and chopping them up with forks and knives is so barbaric. Chopsticks are the best. For me, using chopsticks is truly an art. I guess we're not going to see the coin puzzle. Jessica was about to say, aren't chopsticks just sticks? But stopped herself just in time. She realized it'd be best to let George take control for now. I have a coin here, so would you like to challenge me? I'm pretty good with chopsticks. That's right. You trained George very well with those. Indeed. Table manners are a window into one's upbringing, and Erika-san uses them quite well herself. I'll lend you some coins too. It'll probably be more fun with more of them. Jessica, watch closely and learn. Damn it. Alright, let's go. Let's see who can move the most coins over to their plate. Bring it on. Chopsticks, chopsticks. This time George had steered the conversation into a good direction. Everyone else understood, and they helped to egg on this chopstick fight and change the subject. They were fully aware by now that Erika was extremely proud of her intelligence, and apparently she had the bad habit of using that to look down on other people. She spun her chopsticks around with the deft hand of a juggler. I bet she's doing the Death Note thing where she spins the pen in her hand, which is a thing outside of Death Note with chopsticks. I bet she's doing that. I tried to learn that in high school. I can't do it super well though. I'm very slow with it. But it's fun. Staring at the coins scattered on the table like a dog who had been told to stay after having a meal placed in front of it. Don't forget that Erika's a total freak. We saw what she did last time. She held her ear all night to, like, the wall of the cousin room to listen and make sure nothing happened in there. She duct taped a ton of stuff. She's a total monster. So yeah. You don't recognize her from Death Note? It was a thing that I think Light did a couple times. Maybe I'm the weird one for associating with Death Note, but that's where I learned about it as a kid. Pen spinning. See, I turn around. Hold on. Like I can't do it well at all, but it's like good people can actually like do it properly, but I can do like this, essentially, which isn't really much of anything. Try to go backwards. It's really weird. Yeah, it feels so unnatural. But it's that. But the good people can like kind of like whoosh like whirl it around on the top of their hand, which is like a separate thing, which I think is actually what Light did. He did this thing that I don't know how to do, where like you've like got it balanced here, and you like kind of kick it or something, and it like does this, and you like catch it, and like you don't switch fingers. It's like here, and you like go whoosh, and you catch it. I never learned how to do that properly. I just learned how to do this like finger thing, which I don't know if did I even learn that from Death Note? I don't remember honestly, but I do know that in high school I had a friend and we would like spin the pens, and we'd like throw the pen to each other and like catch it in our fingers, and it was like this really stupid thing. It became like a fad in the high school class for a short time. You know what else became a fad in the high school class? Triple Triad. Yes. The Final Fantasy VIII card game. I introduced it to the class by making Triple Triad index cards. And I taught the class how to play Triple Triad. And yes, this was a private school, not a public school, so I didn't get mocked as some sort of nerd or something. Everyone was a nerd in this class. So for like a good while, only a couple of the other kids really like took it on really, but like for a good few weeks or so, I'd like play Triple Triad with Jamie every day at lunch. Fun stuff. The unsettling sound of the wind had now blended in with the sound of rain, mimicking the howl of some monstrous beast. Just when it seemed to be crying out sadly, it would suddenly turn into a roar and rattle the windows, striking up even more fear and unease within me. I was muting something in my server so I can not have notifications. Okay. I don't know Cardfight Vanguard. I've heard the name, but I don't know a single thing about it. Cardfight Vanguard. Japanese multimedia franchise. Huh. I've never played it or actually ever seen it being played. The only card games I really know, I know Magic the Gathering, I know the Pokemon card game. Then I played a couple slightly more niche ones, like the Mega Man and T-Warrior card game. I tried the Digimon card game once, with a friend as well. It was kind of neat. I don't know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I tried to play Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid, and I did not understand it very well, and apparently I broke, like, every rule in the book by just trying to play. It's not my fault that, like, cards with higher star levels need you to do, like, special stuff to summon them, but it doesn't say that on the card anywhere, and you're just expected to know it. Oh, I had the bootleg cards. I bought a deck or two of those from, like, the county fair. So I had those. They're probably still in my closet, so we're actually, like, you know, the ones that feel really bad in your hand. They're, like, all squeaky and gross. They have the, like, overdone holographics, and the names are, like, 10 words longer than they need to be. Yep. They were a thing over here, too. Don't worry. Light from the hallway poured in through the thin crack of the slightly open door. You can't tell, but I'm petting Junie right now. And it seemed to carry with it laughter that was warm and happy, but very distant. I'm sure everyone's at the dining hall or somewhere, having a good time. I want to go there as soon as I can. I'm sure my family will be there. I hate being all alone in a place like this. Dad. Mom. I stubbornly tried again and again to get that door open, but the merciless chain just wouldn't let it open any further than that crack. So we still don't really know what this scene's all about. Doesn't make any sense yet. It's coming up every now and again. Someone's trapped in a room. On the contrary, feeling this close to a way out just made me more impatient. Gulping and trying to ignore the fear lurking behind me, I quietly closed the door. The light coming out of the crack is just a trap. Iron shackle, making it look like I'm an inch away from freedom, though that door will never actually open. The shackle trapping me in here for all eternity. I need to get out of this creepy room as soon as possible. When I closed the door, all that filled the room were the eerie sounds of wind and rain. The way the wind picked up every now and then, and shook the window frame, felt like a monster in a cage shaking the bars. I was so scared of that monster, I couldn't help but avert my gaze from the window. Gotta search. Gotta believe. If I can't get out the door, I need to find another way out. Just to the side of the door was a closet. There was only enough space inside to hang overcoats. Of course, it didn't connect to anywhere outside the room. If this were hide and seek, it'd probably be fun to hide in there. However, inside this creepy room, it'd be no better than stepping into my own coffin. If I go in there, maybe I'll find myself trapped in the closet next. This fear I didn't understand sent a massive shiver up my spine. I closed the closet door in a hurry. There's one door left. When I opened it, there was the bath and toilet. Of course, there was no exit. There weren't even any windows. If I turned the faucet, water would probably come out, then disappear down the drain and pull outside. But I couldn't get out that way. Unless I went into the bathtub with the stopper pulled out of the drain and smashed my flesh and bones to bits. Whoa, we're escalating kind of fast here. I had the feeling that this was the only way out, so the wax stopper in the bathtub drain looked extremely terrifying. I tried a lot of things, both mentally and physically, but there really was no chance of me getting out through the bathroom. Next is the window. Beyond the window is a pitch-black darkness. The fierce winds and rain are slamming against the glass. The darkness on the other side of the window may have been unsettling, but I didn't really care where I went as long as it got me out of this room. However, the window was clamped shut. Right down the middle of the window, which was made to swing open like a set of double doors, were several ugly metal clamps. It was even more unnerving than the chain of the door, like a rough operation scar on some bizarre monster. The wind and rain slammed against the window frame, shaking it and making it creak loudly. However, unlike the door, this wouldn't open even a crack. I've had enough. Give it a rest already. What the hell is going on with this room? I've had enough of this creepy room. Enough, 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 enough! It's impossible to go outside except with the door and windows. And compared to that thick door, the window looks like it might be possible to break. I'll smash it. If I swing a chair at it, the glass will probably break. I might even be able to smash the wooden grid that runs through these latticed windows. All I need to do is make a gap large enough to slip out of. I grabbed the fancy-looking antique chair and headed back to the window. Ah! Smash it. Over and over. The glass smashed with a violent sound, and the frame groaned and creaked. Smash it, over and over. If I can just break through the wooden grid. Damn it, what the hell? Even though the glass had been smashed apart, even though the cold rain that blew and tormented me, I just couldn't get that grid to break. They weren't iron bars. It was just a slender wooden mesh. Even though it's fragile enough to make that creaking sound, why doesn't it break? No wait, maybe it's almost broken. What if I try attacking from a different angle instead of just smashing it head on? I stuck my left hand outside through the hole in the broken latticed window, grabbed the frame by the front with my right hand, and tried to break it by shaking it around from both sides. My left hand started to grow ice cold from the frigid winds and rain. When I shook it, fragments of glass sticking up from the broken frame poked into me, and my wrist was soon stained with blood. But if I can just get out of here, this much pain is no big deal. But I can't get out. I'm stuck. It won't open. Can't break it. The more violently I shook the frame, the more the glass fragments tore into my left wrist, causing me intense pain. Wait, what's... huh? Ow, ow! Before I realized it, the glass fragments on the frame had extended outwards. It was as though an ugly beast was trying to chew my hand off with glass teeth. It didn't just feel as though they were going outwards. They actually were getting longer before my very eyes. They're chewing my hand to bits. I tried desperately to pull my hand out, but I already dug deep into my wrist and I couldn't move it. I put all my strength into it, but it just hurt more and more, and the glass didn't even budge. Yeah, he's gonna have his stats lowered by pain if he keeps it up. He's gonna lose focus, he's not gonna learn his skills, he's gonna get grabbed in combat. It's gonna be real bad. What the hell? I mean, has he checked to see if there's cockroaches in the boxes yet? He might not be alone in there. They can hide in there. What the hell? Damn it, let me go. Let go. I hit the glass with my right fist over and over, but that just hurt my right fist and did nothing to release my other hand. Just then, my left hand, which was still exposed to the rain outside, brushed against something slimy. What? It couldn't have been a leaf blown about by the winds, or anything like that. No, but I've died to the spiders before. Not recently, thankfully. Not recently. I stay away from the spiders now. If I'm gonna fight those things, I shoot them. Or use magic or whatever. You don't ever want to melee the stupid spiders in CDDA. They're terrible. They win every fight. It's unfair. I mean, it felt just like the touch of someone's rain-soaked hand. Then it closed tightly around my left hand. When I felt the 5 fingers, I knew that some person out in the darkness was touching my left hand. And, yes, I know who it is. It's the witch. The terrifying witch who rules over Rock Enjin's night. The 2 hands soaked in the freezing rain gently caressed my left hand. However, though I could tell what was happening by touch, I couldn't see anything out there in the darkness. Then, it felt about my fingers and twisted my ring finger upwards. Ow! It's gonna break. Yeah! At that moment, I saw something in the darkness for the first time. It was white. The darkness grinned and bared its white teeth. Then that mouth filled with eerily white teeth approached my finger that had been twisted up so far it was about to break, and opened wide. It must have been laughing at me from the darkness. After all, that creepy mouth was twisting upward in a huge grin. I had a horrible idea what it might be trying to do to my finger. A shiver ran up my spine. I resisted as much as I could, but the fangs of glass just wouldn't release my left hand. And then, it gently bit my finger. Gently, huh? Nah, I don't know about that. Flesh and bone were crushed and torn apart in a gentle instant. Crunch, rip, tear, squelch. Splat. Did you hear something just now? I think I heard it too. It sounded like a clunk. It's probably just the wind hitting window. This is a beat-up old mansion after all. Yeah, it is pretty creepy. When I was a brat 6 years ago, I remember spending all the nights all scared that the witch really was walking around the mansion. Oh, she exists! Beatrice exists! What's at the other end of this hallway? There are guest rooms there, but they aren't being used now. Yeah, after all, we have the guest house now. Until then, we would always stay in these guest rooms. Yeah, I remember too. When I saw the guest house today, I was surprised at how beautiful it was. Well, that's because it was just built. I wish I could move my own room over there. Shannon, Erika-san's room is in the guest house too, right? Yes, we have prepared a room for her in the guest house. And since the guest house is a good distance away from the mansion, no matter what kind of trouble happens, you can't hear what's going on in one from the other. Heh, are you still in detective mode? Yeah, it sounds like you'll be all bummed when you wake up tomorrow and manage to say good morning to each other. True, at least one of us had better be gone by tomorrow morning. Make it Erika first. right? Allow me to guide you all to the guest house. Shannon wasn't around for Erica being Erica, so she's probably confused at why they're being, like, kind of hostile toward each other. The adults were apparently about to begin a conversation that they didn't want the kids to hear. The real family conference was about to start. As the kids and Erica followed Shannon on the way to the guest house, they passed through the entrance hall. Looks like it's pouring down at its hardest right now. Should we watch TV in the parlor until it dies down a bit? Mama said to go back to the guest house. You have to go or she'll get mad. Ooh. I think we'll be able to relax a lot more over there. Better than getting to see and hear our parents get all pissed at us. It looks like everything's falling into place. Erica giggled, an openly discreet look on her face. I'll go get some umbrellas for everyone. Please wait here. Oh, wait a second. It's been bugging me for a while. Who's the woman in that portrait? Well, to be honest, I already know that it's Beato's portrait. Still, we only just walked past it in the last game, which is no fun. Erica whispered to herself, but of course, no one heard her. Oh, also, by the way, I forgot to show this off. Look, it's my last portrait. I have Beatrice, I have Erica, and I have Battler. Cool, huh? This is the Master's benefactor, Beatrice-sama. They say she gave grandfather a vast quantity of gold, meaning that she's to thank for the Ushimita family's revival. She's just a witch of grandfather's delusions. Supposedly, her ghost walks the corridors of the mansion every night. Hey, quit it. That story always freaked me out when I was little, and it always made this mansion feel terrifying after nightfall. You know, like, really, say what you want about my ex-wife, you know, we're not married anymore, but she picked out some pretty damn good gifts. She was a good gift giver. Oh, right, that's true. What about now, 6 years later? I'd totally forgotten. Looking at this portrait head-on, I can feel that old fear coming back a bit. Ooh, Beatrice isn't scary. At least, as long as you respect her. If you don't... Right, Shannon? Yes. That rumor does exist among the servants as well. Rumors about servants patrolling at night, bumping into mysterious silhouettes, or gold butterflies. Yeah, was it last year or the year before? Didn't one servant fall down some stairs and get so badly injured that they quit? Wasn't there a rumor that it was Beatrice's curse? Jessica told it like a ghost story, trying to scare Erica, but Erica just laughed disdainfully. Come on, that's creepy. It was probably just an accident, right? Just a coincidence? It happened just after grandfather had this portrait hung here, so it was probably the year before last. In fact, if I remember, this year's the staircase that servant fell down, right? Yep. After all, this insanely huge portrait really stands out. Better be careful going down that staircase, Erica. Better not go down with me behind you. Shortly after it was put up, everyone was talking about what it might be. And then, when the accident happened shortly afterwards, people started calling it Beatrice's curse. So, these ghost stories about Beatrice started after the portrait was put on display. No. Rumors about Beatrice-sama's ghost walking about were around even before that. But there's no official go-to portrait. I like having the official ones. There's still a few that I don't have. I don't have, Ava Beatrice. I don't have, like, other outfit Beatrice. The only thing I could really call Beatrice from episode 2 is, like, high school uniform Beatrice. I don't know what to call her, really. And I don't have, the other portraits that you haven't seen yet. Oh, I have Erica. I have Erica already. I showed her off yesterday. I'll get her again. Hold on. I have the picture right here. Beatrice the Elder. Yep. That's right. Here you go. Here. That's just Battler again. Hold on. 1 sec. Here we go. See? Here she is. I have the Erica portrait already. She's already in my possession. I can destroy her anytime I wish. Before then, even though they had heard about the witch Beatrice, they didn't have an actual distinct picture in their heads of what she'd be like. I imagine that this portrait made that picture distinct for them, strengthening the rumors even more. So, we started talking about this Beatrice witch in the first place. Grandfather. You'd always start freaking out and yelling, "My beloved witch Beatrice!" Though until we saw that portrait, we had no idea what she looked like. It's no surprise that you'd get one or two ghost stories with a creepy portrait like this hanging around. You always find ghost stories cropping up around things like a portrait of Beethoven in the music room, or with a statue of the school founder. True. It would be strange for a few ghost stories to arise in an old gloomy mansion with the sound of wind and rain present in the background for so long. Well, it's nothing more than a ghost story, a delusion, a fairy tale. There's no world just for witches, it's only a fantasy. Worth less than the usual drivel of a half-sleeping nitwit. Erica looked up at the portrait and smiled at it hostilely. As though she felt that this smile was disrespectful to Beato, Maria's face soured. Now you've done it. Now even Maria dislikes you. Come on. She is really setting herself up for failure here. Ooh, Beatrice exists. If you say things like that, you'll definitely feel the curse of the witch. She's gonna be solving her own murder if she doesn't cut it out. Ooh, how frightening. Please, curse me if you can, Beatrice. Hehehe. So if we find you mysteriously dead next morning, we'll know it's the curtain raising on a witch's murder case. And everyone was the culprit. It's one of those movies. Or novels. I saw it in movie form. Okay, fine. But you're a detective, right? Wouldn't killing the detective off in the beginning be a bit too radical? Ah, that would be troubling. That would get in the way of the crime scene inspection. I see, after all, even the Nox rules don't prohibit the detective being killed. I am just what you need. It's a charm that'll protect you from Beatrice's curse. A charm? You have a charm for something like that? After fishing around in her bag, Moria pulled out a string of beads attached to a medal that had a scorpion drawn on it. It looked like a cheap prize from an arcade or something. What are these? Ooh, they're magic-repelling charms. Their effect is very weak, but if you use them, you'll definitely be able to avoid Beatrice's curse all night long. My favorite thing to get from an arcade as a kid was handcuffs. I'm not even really going to say toy handcuffs because they were like metal. They had a key. They're labeled as toy handcuffs, but there's like nothing toy about like actual metal handcuffs that if you don't have the key to, you cannot get off. So I don't really know how they managed to just sell those in the arcades, like for tickets. I wonder if that's still a thing, or maybe there's some kind of like secret way to get at them that I didn't know about. For all I know, maybe there was. But I definitely caused some mischief with those as a kid. My favorite thing to do was handcuffing the freezer and fridge doors shut so nobody could get in there. Just because I felt like being an absolute gremlin. Yep. Yep. I've heard that spiderwebs are also useful for repelling magic. Ooh, that's probably because Beato was the incarnation of a butterfly. Huh? Wasn't it the evil spirits of Akujikishima that were weak against that? Kumasawa-san knows a lot about that sort of thing. Witches and evil spirits? Yeah, this is getting a bit interesting. Would you mind telling me about it in a bit more detail when we get to the guest house? Here are umbrellas for everyone. It's still raining very hard outside, so please take care. Shannon handed out the umbrellas she had brought. Everyone headed towards the exit. And then, when there were none... Oh, they said it, when there were none. Wow. The end of the story. Left standing in front of the portrait, a gold butterfly appeared. It expanded out into a golden splash, becoming human form. In the hall, empty now that the children had left, Beato stood alone and silent, looking up at her own portrait. Without a doubt, the figure depicted there was as like her as an image in a mirror. However, it felt as though its eyes and expression were just a little different from hers. From her perspective, while the person in this portrait was almost infinitely close to herself, it was just as surely a different person entirely. Who are you? Please tell me what kind of person you are. Beato had already finished reading the fragments from Featherine's library, which showed the tales of all the games so far. I hope you read the part where you made Valor kiss your toes. That's very important to understand Beatrice's character, the fine subtleties of what it means to be the Golden Witch. However, the witch called Beatrice, who had been depicted in them, had been so vastly different from her. At the very end, it looked as though that witch and Battler had connected just a little bit as rivals, but for the most part, Beatrice had just bullied and bullied Battler in nearly all the tales. Even though this was about her, she had no idea why Beatrice had tormented Battler so much when they had supposedly been born for Battler's sake. All she had learned from Featherine's library was that the former Beato was a completely different person who defied understanding. What happened to you? I'm an egg of you, a chick. Your wings should have existed for father's sake. Just when did you have one of those torn off and end up so drastically different? She had listened to the conversation Balor and the others had been having. Beatrice can't handle scorpion charms. Beatrice can't deal with spiderwebs. She wouldn't have wanted to touch either of those by choice, but it wasn't as though anything terrible would happen if she did. Was being perfectly fine when around those proof that she wasn't Beatrice? Even though this involved her own self, she didn't understand at all. So she quietly gazed into her own eyes in the portrait. It felt as though the truth hid behind those eyes. Beatrice slowly approached the portrait, and then she lightly touched it. When she did, it felt as though the portrait rippled slightly. Yes, this is a doorway. A doorway to the long path that will lead her to the Golden Witch Beatrice. A doorway to Bob-omb Battlefield. Beato felt a bit dizzy. She lost her balance, feeling as though the world was twisting around her. Then, when she couldn't tell which way was up or down, she was swallowed downwards. Into the cannon. With a soft, watery sound. Okay. No, I've lost. It's not the cannon, I guess. Beato was sucked into the portrait. The world inside the portrait was pitch black. However, there was nothing unsettling about it. It was a comfortable darkness, like when you put your head under the covers in bed at night. Beato realized this was a world inside herself. So despite the darkness, she felt a warm embrace. As long as she asked for nothing, this world would ask nothing of her. But she couldn't remain like this. She didn't want to spend eternity inside the darkness of this world. Yes, I need to hatch out of my egg. This darkness is the shell surrounding the gold butterfly called Beatrice. I will be born for father's sake. I will be born to live for father's sake and to serve him. She took her goal, her reason for being born, and put it in words. As if in response to those words, the seal and the shell began to melt away. Cracks appeared in the darkness, and a brilliant light enveloped the world. Abstract things are happening. And so, Beatrice was born. Huh? Eh? There I stood, along with another me. For a second, I thought that the me in front of me was the real Beatrice, the one I wanted to be more like. See, bro, when you talk about Beatrice the Elder, you're actually thinking this Beatrice here, which is another Beatrice, not the one from episode 2. Close, I know. It's same outfit. Another one for the pile. Add 1 to the Beatrice counter, if you're keeping track. However, she was looking back at me with the same bewildered eyes, so I realized that wasn't quite it. Nah, depressed Beatrice was the one in episode 5, honestly. That's right. I wasn't the only one born from that egg. She was also born. Is she my twin? No, it feels a bit different. How can I put it? Both of us are lacking something and immature. Yes, both of us are chicks, but we're also fragments of the true Beatrice. It felt as though we could become the real Beatrice together. No one explained this to us. However, we naturally understood. I decided to talk to this other me. Unless I get to know her and become one with her, I won't be able to become the Beatrice father desires. In other words, the thing that father wants from me, and was so heartbroken to find missing, must be something that she has. Hello? The Beatrice with her hair down looked at me dubiously several times, then finally spoke. Why is your face the same as my own? The true Beatrice also spoke in that manner. It looks like she really does have something that I lack. Well, I don't know why either. I'm the Golden Witch Beatrice, and you are? I am also Beatrice. I was born for the purpose of serving Ushimi Balor. I'm the Golden Witch in the role of Rakenjima's knight. I know of Ushimi Balor, but I have trouble imagining why I should have to serve a brat like him. I realized that the thought I'd had a second ago must have been true. Together, we really can become the true Beatrice. Though the person in front of me does have the part that makes her a witch, which I lack, she does not possess the mission to live for Ushimi Balor's sake. She has what I do not, and I'm sure I have something that she does not. We must be two and yet one single person. I think we're something like twins. No, that is not so. You are my little sister. I have been here since long before you were born. Huh? Is that so? I was born later. So does that mean the mission to live for Ushima's Balor, Ushida Balor's sake was born later on? However, I don't think my whole existence is something quite as faint and intangible as a mission. I have enough of a personality to think and act as I am doing now. So the witch Beato and I are separate people, with both of us possessing something the other lacks. In that sense, maybe it's fitting for us to call ourselves sisters, as she says. I want to know about you. I also wish to know. I understand that you are also me. Why is it that you speak that way, and why must you serve Balor? Until we grow to understand this, it seems both of us will remain immature. I want to become a complete Beatrice. Until you were born, I was complete. However, now that you've appeared, I believe that accepting you is my fate. I also wish to know about you. The witch Beato's tone was very slightly arrogant, which fitted her self-proclaimed status as the older sister. However, since we both realized that we were the same person, there was no need for her to be a bully. She probably realized that, after meeting me, her current form was no longer her real self. Where are we? Is this the hall of the mansion? Oh. Beato gasped. Her portrait wasn't there. Did that mean that this was at least 2 years in the past? Precisely. This is the hall of the Ishimura mansion. The night is my time, and the nighttime mansion is mine as well. That fool Kinzo is still so desperate to catch me and revive me. How truly ironic. Here I am, openly ruling the mansion every night. So, what do you do here? I have lost my body, and due to the effects of that hateful shrine, I have no magical energy. However, my powers are reviving bit by bit every day. I can't wait to eventually undergo a spectacular resurrection and have a good laugh at Kinzo. I can't wait to tell him that I've succeeded in escaping from his cage. Simply put, I'm a ghost killing time by wandering about night after night, with nothing to look forward to besides teaching that old man a lesson. May I join you? Of course. After all, you are a part of me. How could the left hand refuse the company of the right? Why should I refuse? I shall be pleased to have you, my little sister, the new Beatrice. Thank you very much, One-sama. A somewhat embarrassing name, but it is not bad. Come, let us go. Let us take a walk through the nighttime mansion. Let me introduce you to my boring everyday life. The two Beatrices, or Beatri, as you may also call them, change their forms into two gold butterflies, floating silently into the depths of the shadowy mansion. Oh, there's some CG? Okay, sure. Too bad it's ugly-looking pachinko CG. It's not terrible, I guess, but that still isn't quite the face I'd expect to see from Beatrice. So what was all... Wait, is she supposed to be wearing Jessica's outfit? It looks a lot like Jessica's outfit, actually, now that I think about it. Huh. I wonder if that ever came up before. That might have been mentioned. I'm not sure. It's pretty similar. At least the upper part is. I think the skirt's a bit frillier. Let's see. Are we able to compare here? So... There's that. Let's go look at Jessica. Beatrice. I mean... Okay, it's a bit different. It's a bit different. It's quite a bit different, actually. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Beatrice is a lot darker. It's kind of similar-ish, but not really. Yeah, that's just me not thinking. Back then I was, and I guess I still am, a bit of a klutz. I always forgot where I'd put things, or think I'd locked something up when I'd actually forgotten. I caused a lot of trouble. I remember how Aunt Nancy used to get mad at you all the time. But eventually, Shannon managed to overcome all that forgetfulness. Oh, and how'd you do that? It wasn't anything big, but I got into the habit of writing things down. I write down wherever I put something important. For things that happen often, I made a checklist and always made sure to check it. So, did you see Beatrice or didn't you? Oh, I didn't see her directly, but, well, some very strange things did happen. She was talking about a certain summer night. Shannon had been doing the nightly rounds. From her perspective, it was a ghost story. From the witch's perspective, it was just the story of a little summer's night prank. Oh. You getting up, Junie? Oh, no, she's just stretching. You're adorable, honey. Dude, you're like too close to the camera. I can't get your face in here. You're making this difficult. Hold on. Can I like here maybe? Hold on. How can I do this? Okay, there. Okay, alright. I made it work. Kinda. Yeah. Don't mind the fact that like my microphone cable's slightly in the way. I'll move that. Alright. Alright. It's actually a way better angle than before. Little sister, do you understand the anti-magic toxin that humans possessed? Possess? No. What is it, One-sama? Well, the time of witches has long since passed. Those vile humans who claim to rule over everything came to deny our existence and possess a powerful toxin. Yes, I touched your butt. Is the toxin harmful to us? It is extremely dangerous. If we were exposed to it, our forms would probably evaporate in an instant. However, one thing we do have in our favor is the fact that our resistance is still extremely weak. Because of that, the toxin does not affect us greatly. At worst, it can only transform us into mist for a time. However, we'd rather avoid it if we can, right? Correct. Yes, I see that you were indeed me. Don't worry, I can do like the shoe on head thing. If you want to prove it's not pre-recorded. Trying to find something I can put on Juniper's head here. Oh, hey! I put a bottle cap on her. Oh, 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 oh. Alright. Lie back down, Goober. Lie back down. No, she tried. She would never do that. Sometimes she does, but she doesn't draw blood. The older sister appeared to be haughty at first, but perhaps because she was so happy to have met her double and little sister, she was more than willing to teach her anything she wanted to know. The first thing she taught was that there were witches. A different type of being than humans. I wish I could get a better angle to show off her eyes, because she has her eyes open right now. She has the prettiest eyes. But I can't do that really without like... okay, I guess that works. Beto had thought her inability to use magic meant she wasn't a witch. But apparently she was still a witch nonetheless. And she learned that witches like her are bound by various limitations, unlike humans. When Penelope and Felix grew up, the one I showed off earlier, by the way, was Felix. Penny is his little sister. Well, I say little because she's a small cat. They were born at the same time. They're twins. These two would like climb up my legs with their sharp little kitten claws. Kittens have the sharpest claws. Oh my god. Like, the most scratches you'll get from a cat are probably like accidental kitten scratches, honestly. Or purposeful ones, depending on their age and how you treat them. But yeah. Around the time they were going up, I had to keep them in my room to keep them like away from the other cats for a bit. Until, you know, they got used to the smell of them and everything and all that. And because they were in my room like from a super duper young age. So they would just like constantly climb up my legs. Not to mention getting into things in the room. You gotta be really careful. With like, you know, cats in a room with like computers and cords and stuff like that. And she learned that witches, like her, were bound by various limitations, unlike humans. The greatest of those restrictions was the anti-magic toxin possessed by humans. So in other words, we mustn't enter a human's field of vision. Correct. You can think of it as though human eyes radiate the toxin. If they see you, it's the same as your body being burnt, and though the effect is weaker, being heard or sensed can also result in contact with the toxin. So even just getting close to humans is dangerous to us. Wasn't Father a human? Why am I not burnt by Father's toxin? If we stock a magical power and have it acknowledged by humans, that toxin can be reduced drastically. In other words, by having resistance acknowledged by humans, we make them lose their toxin, making it possible for us to appear before them once more. I see. Simply put, as we are now, we can only exist when humans aren't around. We are still very lacking in magical power, which makes us inferior to even a stray cat hiding from humans in the shadows. The main goal of the older sister was to gain a large supply of magical power and be revived as a great witch, strong enough to have no fear of the anti-magic toxin. For that purpose, she had wandered around the mansion night after night. striving to regain her magical power and reduce the anti-magic power of the humans. The powerful previous Beatrice, whom she had read about in Featherreed's library, had appeared openly in front of humans and had even toyed with them at will. According to her big sister, such a level of power was most impressive. To think that a witch could appear openly before humans and use magic at will. A witch like that would be so great that even I can hardly imagine it. Is that what we will eventually become? Yes. She was like a witch from a picture book, appearing openly before the humans in the mansion and summoning magic and underlings at will. And killing them. How inspiring. If that is our future, it means that all of our hard work will have been worth the effort. That's right. Anyway, Ane-sama, how is that goal connected to going around and unlocking windows like this? It was the middle of the night. They were falling behind servants who were checking the locks on the doors and windows, and in doing those locks after the servants thought they had been set. It felt more like a child's prank than the work of a witch. This is the path that leads us to becoming a great witch. All journeys begin with a single step. To those who cannot understand, that first step may look quite foolish from time to time. However, it is still a momentous first step. It's like how in Cataclysm, if you want to learn mechanics, the first thing you gotta do is craft a bunch of pipe cleaners. With pride, as though making the first step for mankind on the surface of the moon. Or maybe it's fabrication, I forget. Pipe cleaners go towards something. They're good in the early game, you gotta craft a few to get a free level or two. The older sister undid the lock on a window with a click. Do you not understand, little sister? Can you not see why a little thing like this is so momentous? No, Ane-sama, I don't really understand. The older sister closed her eyes slightly, smiled, and opened the unlocked window a crack. Cool outside air flowed in, making the curtains flutter. Let us put in the toxin-filled words of a human. We are not supposed to exist on this island. I shall go further. Right now, there was no one in this corridor. And yet, the lock has been undone, and the window has opened. Can you see how great a miracle, a work of magic, a proof of her existence that is? Even you should understand the coolness of this breeze. I do understand. It's nice and cool. The coolness, the softness of the breeze, and the feel of the fluttering curtain touching your hair. All of these things show that we truly are here. So, by unlocking the window like this, we can leave behind proof that we really did exist. And that is why I unlocked it. Of course, it wasn't just small pranks like opening a window. She could also smash windows and vases, or leave behind strange fires and mysterious scribbles. In fact, one time, she actually did play a large-scale prank in the kitchen. Climbing up kitchenware in an eerie manner and leaving behind a bizarre scribble, which scared the servants considerably. It was a complete success. She'd really managed to scare the servants and had succeeded in making them acknowledge the existence of magic, weakening the anti-magic toxin. However, she usually chose to make her presence known by unlocking windows. The act of unlocking symbolized her release from the limitations imposed by the human's toxin. One day, we will become a single witch and rule over all of Rakenjima. When that time comes, we will gain complete freedom and will be capable of stretching our wings as we please. We won't have to be afraid of anyone's gaze anymore. We'll be able to fly wherever we wish, disappear whenever we want. Laugh however we like, prank however we like, talk with anyone we want to. Humans might ask things of us from time to time. They might fight with us or play with us too. But wonderful things for us frail creatures, who cannot appear before anyone to look forward to. Right now, they are a little more than pranks. However, as they pile up, proof that we exist will begin to gather. The servants already call me the witch, Beatrice, master of the night, and are beginning to believe in me bit by bit. The more they believe, the more those humans will lose their anti-magic toxin. I see. So this means that Father has no anti-magic toxin. And that's because he truly believes in the existence of the witch I am, without any doubts. I finally realized that, though I had thought him to be cold, Father does possess a kindness that can't be seen. Without love, it cannot be seen. I'd like to become a great witch and appear in front of everyone soon. Indeed, eventually we'll be able to appear openly in front of anyone. By doing that repeatedly, we shall make people believe in us even more, and eventually we shall display even our magic for all to see. At that time, we shall descend upon Rakenjima as the great witch you told me of. Ah ha ha ha. The logic of the witch side is quite interesting. It keeps me entertained. It does sound credible in a way. When humans are frightened to hear that they've entered a ghost hotspot, they're likely to start yelling, "Ghost, ghost!" at the drop of a hat. That's right. At a fundamental level, all phenomena are neutral, indifferent, and dull. If you want them to be viewed a certain way, you must first create a suitable environment. If a person has charisma, people will interpret what they do in a positive way, even when they screw up. I see. I guess in that sense, the Beato's small efforts aren't misguided. If it was just the mansion's locks being undone, everything could be resolved by saying that someone forgot to lock up, or that it was some kind of prank. However, the rumors of a witch wandering about the mansion night after night slowly begin to take shape as the existence of the witch. An environment was established so that, if anything strange happened in the mansion at night, it would all be viewed as the work of the witch. I get it. If you follow that reasoning to an extreme, then what you get is no different from a witch existing in the mansion at night. Devil's proof. After the Beatos finished the mischief of unlocking and opening the window, they enjoyed the coolness of the wind and the brightness of the moon, then became gold butterflies and disappeared into the darkness. I can't believe the Beatrices are multiplying. There was no way of knowing whether the window they had opened had actually been opened by them. The servants might have forgotten to lock up, or one of the family might have opened it after the servants had locked up and forgotten to shut it again, or maybe someone had played a prank. In the same way that none of these possibilities could be denied, it was also impossible to deny the possibility that a witch really had opened a window to enjoy the night breeze. A result without an observer can possess an endless number of ways in which it might have occurred. Humans who can't grasp anything more than a single possibility aren't able to imagine anything. However, people who believe in the possibility of a witch can imagine that it was a witch's prank. When that happens, the scene of Beatrice's prank that we have just seen is etched into the fragment as a fact. That's one of the foundations of magic, embellishing the process. With just a little magic, even a mass-produced stuffed animal can be reborn as a wonderful, unique stuffed animal filled with a mother's love. If you doubt it, it'll be burnt by the anti-magic toxin. If you believe it, the magic will become the truth. Not all magic is bad. Mario Nachan was right. Good magic exists too. It may be necessary for a child of man to possess the power to repel evil magic. However, refusing to burn away and defile love-filled magic is part of how love in the human world works. This goes back to, like, the whole analogy I made of giving a kid candy. You could give it to them by, like, pulling it out from behind their ear, and you could make them think it was magic. In the end, you still give the kid candy, but by changing the process, you make it magic. Well, good magic is the only kind I can forgive. For all other kinds, the best remedy is to deny them and burn them away. A typical answer for a child of man. Getting back to the point, knowing this much, I guess this means that the ghost Beatrice, who's called the ruler of Kenjima's night, doesn't really exist. It's nothing more than a general term for any inexplicable occurrences that took place in the mansion after dark. In other words, Beatrice isn't the name of a person, it's the name of a phenomenon. If anything bizarre happens, it all becomes the work of the Golden Witch. That environment in which a witch could exist is what Beatrice is. That keeps building on itself until we reach 1986. This is the veil that the true culprit is hiding behind. And the person hiding behind it is, without a doubt, a human. Perhaps that holds true at this point in the witch's tale of the past. However, I doubt that you can use that argument alone to fight all the way through 1986, don't you? So like, stock gremlins were born. Ridiculous. Wasn't that obviously because someone forgot to lock up? Well, you may say that, but this isn't just something that happened once or twice. In other words, you're a klutz, a fool, and a moron of a servant who forgot to check not just once or twice, but many times over. Shannon isn't the only one. That same window was always opened, even when other servants did the rounds. Maybe the window's broken. Like, the lock, did they never look at it? Yeah, Mom even asked me if I'd ever left a window open in the hall at night. I had absolutely nothing to do with it, but she still got pissed. Sheesh. I'm sure Beatrice wanted to gaze at the moon. Ooh. It is a bit creepy to have that happen over and over at the same window. And that time when the kitchenware was piled up in the kitchen with a creepy magic circle scribbled there, sounds even more freaky. Yes. They said it was an eerie magic circle drawn with something like blood. Ever since then, people have been scared to patrol the kitchen. About the case of the eerie magic circle in the kitchen, who witnessed that? Well, it wasn't me. I think I heard about it from a servant kid who quit. I wasn't on duty that day. So it's basically like this. Just like those exaggerated stories you hear about haunted locations over the world, you servants like to have a little fun telling ghost stories about the nighttime mansion, right? You talk as though the witch exists and infect others with that belief. So all the eerie things that are supposedly done by Beatrice are baseless rumors. which are either the result of coincidence and accident, or something that someone fabricated for fun. Is that what you're trying to say? Exactly. Of course there's no Beatrice exists. Ooh, Beatrice exists. I'm glad you understand so well, Battler-san. There's probably some person by that name, or else multiple persons with a fixed or unfixed number who do things and attribute it to that name. However, this delusion of a golden witch Beatrice that we're all thinking of is completely impossible. Ooh, Beatrice exists. I've met her. Oh, could you tell me about that in detail? You met Beatrice, and did she show you magic or something? Ooh, I see her all the time, every time I come to Rokenjima, and she always shows me fun magic. The existence of the witch would have... This sounds like we've reached like a Danganronpa showdown or something with the music. Like suddenly we're gonna have like a logic debate between these two. Okay. Denying the existence of the witch would always have the immediate effect of infuriating Maria. However, Erika, who didn't know this trick to avoiding Maria's fury, plunged into it head on. I think she just doesn't care. But no matter how much Maria tried to sell the idea of Beatrice's existence, she stood no chance of defeating the ruthlessly intelligent Erika in an argument. George and Jessica hurriedly tried to calm Maria down, but there could be no quelling her anger at this point. Good. So she showed you magic. Could you explain in detail what kind of magic? She had always used magic to give me candy as a present. Beato can create candy with magic. She just took it out of her pocket, didn't she? No, she didn't. It was magic. It was incredible. Tons of candies poured out of an empty cup. But wow, that's some awesome magic. That's right, that really would be magic. Yeah, it was magic. It really was empty. I checked inside it myself. Huh? What do you mean you checked inside it? Give it a rest, Erika-san. She's just a kid. Come to think of it, Erika-san, would you like some more Yeah. No, thank you. I'm having a seriously intellectual discussion over here. Maria's 9. Please. Erika. Just no. Outsiders could stay out of this. You'll have to tell me in more detail, Maria-san. What do you mean when you say we've checked inside it? Fortunately, we have right here with us a teacup that's just been overturned and emptied. Come on, be my guest and reenact what happened then, okay? Let's see, if you would. Let's see it. She's gonna disprove Santa. After holding the cup of black tea, which she had just overturned and was still dripping, upside down over the table, Erika slammed it down hard and slid it over to Maria. Erika's eyes glowed repulsively, like those of a snake about to snap up a frog. Those eyes were ice cold and had a madness in them that made one want to avert their gaze. On the other hand, Maria was glaring furiously, her whole body shaking uncontrollably in the greatest expression of anger that a human can manage. Wow. That look on her face was frightening. Not at all what you'd expect from a 9-year-old girl. Stop it, both of you. Ooh, okay. Beatrice took the empty cup, and then she did this. She put it upside down on the table. Yeah, and then what? Did she lift it up right away, and candies flowed out? Incredible, that really would be magic, right? It would be. About when the others tried to get between the two and calm them down, but it was no use. They violently pushed aside the others, and glaring at each other from so close that their foreheads banged together, they repeatedly slammed the upside-down cup on the table. The sound of their foreheads banging together and the cup being swept down shattered the barrier between reality and illusion. Oh my god. It is magic. It is magic. Beato used magic to make candies appear. Then why don't you reproduce it for us? Founder of marriage sorcery, Maria, the Witch of Origins. Lady Erika, this opponent is not worth your time. This battle is not worth fighting. Shut up, murder doll. Okay, how do you claim that the overturned cup was filled with candies? Just turning the cup over won't make candies come out, because you have to use magic. Beato can use magic because she's a witch. Oh yes, magic, she used magic. How did she use magic? Did she swing a magic wand and tap the cup to make candies pour out? No, that can't be it, right? Beato's a witch, so she uses magic. Magic happens when you say an incantation and cause a miracle. You can't use the magic that makes candy unless you say the incantation. Oh, sure, understood. Good though, very good though. Let's see this incantation. Let's see this magic. Come on, what kind of incantation would a witch use? What kind? Come, try and picture it. The inside of the cup is filled with candies. Try and picture such a wonder. Oh, and then what? Look, the inside of the cup is filled with candy. Maria grasped the overturned cup so tightly that it nearly cracked and slowly lifted it up. Then, from the inside, several cute candies poured out. Mario looked at Erica with a full smile, as if to say, "That showed you." Good doll. And this is what you'd like to call Beatrice's magic, is it? Duelador! Beat her to death! As you wish. I won't let anyone deny Beato's magic, because magic is magic. Magic is impossible. You might be telling a lie about something that never happened. Repetition demanded. Failure to respond will be a violation of Nox's 7th. Aha, I'll respond. This is the truth. This is a story of something that really happened. This wouldn't have anything to do with a trick in the actual cup or table, making this just a sleight of hand, right? That would be against the rules, wouldn't it? Hidden devices and tricks are in violation. I can't do this, holy shit. Episode 6 is hilarious. Hidden devices and tricks are in violation of Nox's 3rd. However, if and only if foreshadowing has been presented, these are permitted by Nox's 8th. Nox's 3rd prohibits hidden doors and devices that have no clues pointing towards them. However, by presenting foreshadowing and clues that point towards the existence of said devices, Nox's 8th allows them to be used. There were no tricks like that. It was just an ordinary table and an ordinary cup. If so, it was magic, not sleight of hand. Understood. By Nox's 9th, we acknowledge that Lady Maria witnessed magic. Ahaha, that's right. With a 9th, at least. Observers are always allowed to speak their personal opinions. Otherwise, mysteries where the culprit is seen dressed up as a woman and it's written, "I saw a woman," would all be disqualified. Sure, that's fine. Claim that you saw magic all you want. All truths are nothing more than claims, so I'll make a different claim and see straight through yours to the truth. That's the detective's duty, and where we shine the most. There's nothing to see through. This is magic. Since it is magic, only witches can use it, right? That's right, only witches can use it. So if a human like me could use it too, that would mean it isn't magic, right? You can't use it. Only Beato can use magic. Good though. Then why don't I show you? I'll make candy appear from out of this empty cup. If you think you can, just try. Impossible, impossible, useless, useless. There's no way a human can do it. Then please, 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 just relax and watch. I can't wait to see this in the stage play. This is gonna be great. Here we have an empty cup. Is that okay? It is, isn't it? Then we turn it over on the table like this. Poor Delanor is just so displeased with this. Let it be known that this bite has no purpose. Also remember that Noxus didn't apply for the first 4 games, which is why the bomb thing got to go through. At least as far as we know, it may or may not have applied. They actually didn't confirm that. Who was it? I think Virgilia refused to give an answer. But basically, Beatrice, you know, she didn't feel the need to, like, use Nox. Or Valor proposed that, at least. Let it be known that this fight has no purpose. Let it be known that you're wasting your time. Okay, can you say the incantation for creating candies? In fact, why don't we say it together? Come, try and picture it. The inside of the cup is filled with candy. Try and picture such a wonder. Stop! Maria-san, why did you close your eyes when you said the incantation? Why not witness the miracle of magic? Humans are polluted by the anti-magic toxin. If a lowly human saw it, the miracle of magic would be wiped out of existence. That's why the rules say that lowly humans have to close their eyes when using magic. I see, I see. Okay, I understand the protocol for humans to follow when magic's being used. In other words, not once have you ever witnessed the moment the magic happened. Isn't that right? Look, it's done now. Please, try and lift up the cup, okay? After all, I used magic to make candies appear. There's no way someone who makes fun of witches could use candy magic. Then if it actually does work, it'd be pretty amazing, huh? After glaring at Eric with the utmost of malice, Maria slowly stretched her hand out towards the overturned cup. There was no way that Erica, someone who made fun of witches like this, could ever use magic. There was no way that there'd be candy there. So how's it look inside? Ah! And there lay a single candy with a cute wrapper. See? This is magic, right? Erica smiled gently. A look of disbelieving shock rose to Maria's eyes, along with envy for this person who could use the same magic as Beato. Erica, you can use magic too? See, it's magic, isn't it? What I did there. Yeah. So in other words, Erica smiled pleasantly. She and Maria had finally reached a deep understanding. Of course it isn't! While you had your eyes closed, I just lifted up the cup and tossed a candy in. You call that magic? It's just a third-rate trick. There's my blue truth as the detective. Now, as the witch of truth, here's my red truth. Your so-called candy magic is nothing more than a sleight of hand. Just a sleight of hand that the fake witch calling herself Beatrice or whatever claimed was magic. I mean, seriously, did you really get fooled by such a stupid parlor trick? Any magic related by your perspective can't be trusted at all. Everything you ever thought was magic was just a trick that you didn't get. There is no way that was magic. There's no way magic exists. Maria in shambles. Huh? It might have been sleight of hand when you put candy in this cup, but that doesn't prove that Beatrice's magic was also sleight of hand. Would you? However, you also can't prove that only magic could have done it. You rotten stuffed animal. You didn't need to say that part in blue. Please, allow me to speak. Know that this is a meaningless battle. Please, someone stop her. You goddamn scraps of paper. Why'd you have to butt in at the good part? That is enough. Lady Maria has been shown that the candy cup magic could possibly be a trick that she misunderstood to be magic. Therefore, her claim that it was magic is dismissed. However, it might really have been magic when Maria saw it. Just because it can be done by sleight of hand doesn't disprove magic. Well done, Lady Erica. Congratulations on crushing Lady Maria's illusion of the witch. Congratulations on beating a 9-year-old in an Ace Attorney showdown. You did it. An illusion of the witch occurs when someone tries to force the acknowledgement of magic by claiming that a thing would be impossible without it. It's how witches launch an attack. If someone's able to successfully argue back and show that it would be possible without magic, the illusion of the witch is defeated, and the witch must retreat. Don't forget, by the way, that what we're seeing is like a metaphor for what Erica's actually doing, and probably making Maria bawl her eyes out in front of, like, all the cousins and servants and stuff right now, and everyone is, like, totally glaring at Erica. Everyone hates her right now. She is enemy number 1 on the island. The magic Maria claimed to have seen could have been a trick, so it was unqualified to be acknowledged as magic. However, that was only the result of this battle. It was still too early to bring the fight into the domain of denying Beatrice, the witch and the magic that Maria believed in. By the way, I want to ask, like, when I'm not going to say yell, but when I raise my voice like that in the mic, is that fine? It's not like killing quality or like peeking at her or doing anything bad. It sounds okay? I'm trying to have a bit of fun with it. Especially because the camera's not on me right now. I'm afforded that fun without having to peek over and look at my silly face. Okay, good. I'm forever self-conscious about my mic quality, which is something I think every streamer goes through. So yeah. However, battles always end instantly when your opponent surrenders. Erica had wanted to hit Mario with everything at once. Erica had wanted to hit Mario. I want to hit Erica. Defiling the witch and magic she believed in, and crushing it without a fragment of compassion. Just one more step and I've been able to take a heart as innocent as the smooth sand just after a wave is pulled back and tear it to bits. What a shame. This isn't any fun anymore. Are you satisfied now? Ouch. Erica grumpily punched Eleanor's arm that had been restraining her. However, that cold, hard, marble-like arm just made Erica's hand hurt. Diplomatic immunity. This battle is over. Allow me to speak. Diplomatic immunity accepted. Know that this fight is childish. Did you say something? She did not. Let us withdraw. Lady Maria is no enemy of yours, Lady Erica. There is no need to pay any attention to such small fry as this. You're right. How childish of me, tearing a kid's dreams apart. I'm really sorry, okay? I apologize for my momentary lack of elegance. Let's go. Erica and the others turned their backs on Maria, who was still crouching down limply. However, as detectives in famous mysteries have always done in the past, Erica clapped her hands, stopped, and turned around. Oh, that's right. What do you think? Simply by the existence of the overturned cup, this level of reasoning was possible for Fiddler to Erica. What do you think, everyone? Erica's merciless words gouged themselves into Maria's heart once more. Erica left, leaving an evil laugh behind her. What, are you not going to tell Maria your famous title? Are you not going to introduce Maria to words she should never have to hear? Wow, how generous of Erica for not saying the other line. After After bowing, Tamari and Sakataro, Delana left too. Gertrude and Cornelia followed suit. After that, only Mari and Sakataro were left in the lonely Golden Land. Look, if Umineko has given us time to, like, sympathize with and understand Mari more, and some time to sympathize with but not understand Beatrice yet, but we still sympathize with her, maybe someday we'll sympathize and understand Erica, right? Right? Maybe. Probably not. What do you... Beato is a witch. Who do you... Beato is a witch. It was magic. It was magic. It was magic. Beato used magic to give you candy. You don't need to doubt that. Who do you... Please believe in Beato. You know that magic can't bear fruit unless you believe. Oh... Surrounded by an ice-cold drizzle that had started falling at some point, Maria cried quietly. Trying to at least protect her from the rain, Sakataro used his large sleeves to cover Maria's head, and stayed there by her side. Of course, in real life, Maria doesn't have Sakataro to, like, hug. Okay, let's go, Maria. Let's play cards together in the room upstairs. Erica-san, as an adult, I can't say I was very impressed by that conversation just now. My apologies. I'm still just a kid after all. After seeing that wonderful candy magic brutally insulted by Erica, Maria had been crying nonstop. I started noticing as soon as the after-dinner quiz party, but your personality really is screwed up. Do you think this is fun? Do you like tearing a little kid's dreams apart? Please stop, Battler-sama. Please, for my sake, don't push any further here. Please. Shannon, who had been looking flustered, bowed her head deeply and implored Battler to stop. George, who didn't want Shannon pressured, fell in line. Let's go. Let's spend this year in the cousin room again. We can watch TV and play cards. I've heard that Erica-san has her own room. Shannon, please guide her there. Get her away from us. Oh, no need to bother yet. I'll relax down here for a little while longer. I want to savor it a bit. And, you know, make sure that no one comes in or out of this building. Of course. What the hell are you trying to savor? I have some doors to go tape. Don't mind me. That one, the others could no longer hide their irritation. They had no obligation to entertain their uninvited guest any further than this. Erica herself understood perfectly well that no place would welcome a detective. But when the others wanted to leave, and Erica wanted to stay, neither had any desire to stop the other. Jessica urged Maria, who was still crying, to come along. Then Maria stopped and spun around. Got a problem? Hee. They do exist here and there. Humans who are practically lumps of the toxin and don't believe in magic. There were lots of boys like you in my class. They didn't believe in witches, or magic, or miracles, or happiness. You can't become a witch if you let the toxin people like that burn you to ashes. I may not look it, but I'm Beatrice's disciple. I'm the apprentice witch of origins. Maria, who had been crying quietly a second ago, seemed to have been transformed into an entirely different person. She laughed, no, cackled eerily. Battler's group stiffened up at this sudden change, but Erica was watching calmly. Then she smiled and gave a small nod in response. Good, though. You've got some guts. Good night, Miss Maria. Let's fight in a more challenging game next time. Sure, let's. It's a promise. You stop that too, Maria. Come on, let's go. What about you, Shannon-chan? Come with us if you want, to play cards. Come on, join us for at least one round. It'll cheer you up. Then just for a bit. Shannon couldn't remain in this suffocating lounge any longer either. In part apologetic and in part trying to escape, she followed after Battler's group. After that, Erica was the only one left in the lounge. Still wearing a thin smile, she tapped a glass with her finger. It was a light chink sound, a surprisingly boring sound. Even so, Erica wore a thin smile as though pleased. Oh, sorry to keep you waiting. I was just in the bath. Oh, where is everyone? You just missed them. They went up to the second floor. I'm the one who called you here. I've heard that you know a lot about the story of Akujiki Shima and the Tale of the Witch of the Forest. Yes, well, it is a trivial story, but I don't mind in the slightest if it's trivial. Would you like a drink to follow your bath? Even I like to be helpful every now and again. Erica stood up, opened the refrigerator behind the counter, and put ice into the ice pail. Are you gonna get Kumasawa drunk? Ooh. Erica-chan, she's an odd kid. Somehow, I just can't seem to get along well with the young kids these days. Yeah, she's definitely an example of a regular kid. You see Erica's all over TikTok, I'm sure. You're still pretty young yourself, George-san. I guess it's because I've always been the oldest of the cousins. It's always made me feel like I'm not one of the young ones anymore. Aw, she's covering up her face. George and Shannon could be seen standing in the rainy rose garden. Though the rain was still pouring down, there was hardly any wind at all. The scant protection provided by the arbor was more than enough to house this secret meeting between lovers. Following that fight with Erica, they decided to play some cards for a change of pace. When that was over, Shannon had returned to the servant room, and shortly after that, George had left his room to meet Shannon at the time they had arranged. I think kids around Erica-san's age have a hard time getting along with themselves, more so than any other age. Yeah, that's true. Around that age, most kids are so determined to free themselves from the shell of childhood that they lash out in all directions with their beaks. When they do break out, they'll finally be free to stretch their wings and fly high. I was like that too. My old self, still trapped inside that shell, was a weak, deplorable person who I couldn't really respect. That's not true. No, it's okay. I realize it myself. Back then, I might have been the oldest of the cousins, but I was still a lazy, hopeless person. And it wasn't just with the cousins. At home, at school, I was like that everywhere. I hated being like that. I wanted to break that shell and become a splendid adult like mother and father. But in the end, you did break out of that shell, George-san. Every time I've met you these past few years, you've grown beyond recognition. Thank you. Did something cause you to make up your mind? To break out of my shell? Yes. I can't imagine that you grew so rapidly, like a butterfly breaking out of its cocoon, by just wandering around aimlessly. I thought there must have been some turning point that made you become so determined. Oh, Shannon, come on, you know. I fell in love with you and grew thanks to the power of love, is what I've told you so far. But the truth is, the turning point was a much more negative emotion. No way. It's hard to believe that someone who's always bright and always... I got some water. Always as bright and cheerful as you could have negative emotions. A George backstory? Well, my parents brought me up to treat women with care, and I thought that I'd managed to live my life that way. Yes, I think you're wonderful, a real gentleman. But I'm not, actually. I didn't know how to interact with the opposite sex. I deified them excessively, and though I always behaved in a gentlemanly, ladies-first kind of way, I was probably outright afraid of interacting with girls. Of course, George had wanted to be more around girls as... Wait, why did I read it more from? George had wanted to be around girls as much as any healthy boy might. However, he didn't know how to interact with them. He wanted to act like a gentleman to avoid being disliked by them, treating them with care. Of those feelings, only the words treat women with care took precedence, blossoming into his subconscious fear of women. You might call a man like that gentlemanly, or a late bloomer. Ridiculous. I was just a coward. Because of that, I started to wonder why I couldn't get a girlfriend if I was so gentlemanly, and eventually came to the conclusion that all the women in the world had no taste. I started to hate all of them, selfishly. That's what a true pathetic man looks like. How many years ago was it when I noticed? Probably when I was in middle school. At the time, I assumed that I was obviously the most gentlemanly of the cousins, so I'd obviously be popular with women. However, reality was very different. At school, I was pretty much completely hopeless. Far from being a leader, I was a typical bullied kid who got pushed around by everyone. At the time, I figured I was just a capable and adaptable man who could keep in perfect tune with his surroundings. How stupid. Sure, I might have gained some measure of trust from girls. However, not only was there no one who would become my girlfriend, there weren't even any girls I could call friends. Of course, I was a man who always stepped back for the sake of ladies first. Who would ever want to fall behind such a negative, unmotivated man? It's funny. I didn't even realize this, and was convinced that I was an attractive guy. I can sort of understand how you felt. Just because someone puts in a lot of hard work to look attractive to the opposite sex, it doesn't necessarily work out as they plan. Oh? Does that happen to you too, Shannon? Of course. One time, I wanted to catch a boy's eye so much, I tried to put on makeup even though I didn't know how and embarrassed myself. I remember a lot of embarrassing failures. The person that made me finally get over my conceit and open my eyes was you, Shannon. No, it was both of you. What was the turning point for you, George-san? Envy, probably. That's unexpected. But envy over what? I saw you and Balor having a really good time talking. That made me envious. Me and Balor-sama? Shannon raced through memories, trying to find a conversation that might have made George envious. It probably seemed trivial to you two. However, it still made me envious. I don't want Balor to hear what I say next, no matter what. Can you promise me? Of course. It's going to be a shameful confession. Still, I want you to hear it. I want to hear your answer tonight. Only after I've told you about my bad sides as well. Okay, let me hear it. With a smile but a serious look in her eyes, Shannon nodded. Tonight, she knew what he was going to ask her tonight. George had the right to confess before asking that sacred question, and Shannon had the obligation to listen. Shannon understood this, so she listened quietly. So this is what a witch of theater-going peeps in on during her spare time. Stories of love are precious in any age. I never tire of them. However, I do find that expression of virgin disgust in her face even more amusing. Featherine laughed quietly. Angie huffed and looked away, but she quickly realized that this would only entertain Featherine even more, so she tried to act unconcerned. Both Balric and Jessica-chan have always been spirited. No, phrasing it that way is just dodging the issue. Let me be frank. George looked up at where the moon should be, high above the rain clouds, and spoke. They were honest words, spoken simply from George's heart. For a long time back then, I thought of Balor-kun and Jessica-chan as bad-mannered kids. No, let me be more blunt. I thought that even the way they talked was vulgar. It's true. I don't mind if you hold me in contempt for that. I don't. People are allowed to think anything they want inside their hearts. In fact, I think you were all the more commendable for not letting it show on the outside. Thanks. I secretly looked down on those two. I was so conceited that I truly thought I was overplaying with gentlemanly charm compared to them. I was at that age where having a girlfriend felt like a necessary condition for becoming a real man. I truly believe that no girl could fail to admire a gentleman who treated girls as well as I did. I mean, it's admirable that George has, like, overcome this and, like, looks back and, like, is very self-aware of his past self. That's really hard to do, honestly. As honestly as he's doing it. So I really did assume that the girls I knew were attracted to me. I'm sure I could talk plenty about my outlook on this stuff, 15, 20 years ago too, but let's not get into that. Jeez, no. Too much of a tangent. We're not talking about Teen Takanai tonight. Not too much. I thought that Balor-kun and Jessica-chan, who always joked around and spoke in a rude, vulgar fashion, would never be able to get a boyfriend or girlfriend. I might have used that argument to distract myself when I still couldn't get one myself. I was a fool. They weren't inferior to me at all. I was the inferior one, with my deification of the opposite sex in my fear, which I hid under the guise of ladies first. That's been Balor's and Jessica's personality from the beginning. True, they were rude, and... where did that English accent come from for a second? Whatever that was. And one couldn't have called them gentlemanly or ladylike. However, they did have the power to interact without worrying about gender. In fact, you might even call that their charm. I need to chug some water. Okay, hopefully that's a bit better. I sort of understand. People like Oni-chan and Jessica Oni-chan can get along with anyone, regardless. No, I'm making up words. Whether that person's a boy or a girl. I hate to bring it up because of George Oni-chan, but I find people who act too overtly like a gentleman a bit creepy. It's like their virgin's trying too hard, or whatever. When dealing with strangers, people prefer for them to be harmless and boring. However, they only appreciate those qualities because such a person doesn't get in the way. No human would want to hang around with a boring person all the time. Of course, no idiot would want to be friends with an unmoving, unspeakable telephone pole. However, unmoving and unspeaking is exactly what you'd want from a telephone pole. That's it. It seems as though George finally discovered that he wouldn't be viewed as an attractive man, no matter how superior he was, and that he had been treated like a telephone pole the whole time. Big George backstory. Back then, my conceit was at its peak. Did we get a new song for like 20 seconds just now? So when everyone gathered at the family conference, I believed that I was the most attractive and that all the servant girls who played with us loved having me there. On that day, I finally realized how pathetic I was. Did I say something inconsiderate then? No, it's the opposite. You didn't say anything at all. My conceited delusion that I was the only one ever reflected in your eyes was crushed. Just when did it start? No, it must have started long before then. I only failed to notice because my eyes were clouded with conceit. One day, I suddenly realized it. All of you were getting along with Batler-kun and Jessica-chan far better than with me. Playing around and having a good time. Yes, those two, whom I looked down upon so much, were radiating far more charm than I was. You really looked like you were enjoying yourself that day. The look on your face was far brighter than any you ever showed me. Sickening, isn't it? I just assumed that you liked me, and even had some childish fantasy that we might end up dating. I one-sidedly felt as though my girlfriend had been stolen from me and let myself feel hurt. I was such a pathetic man. That's when I finally realized how foolish I'd been. George-sama. After that, stuff happened and Batler-kun stopped going to the family conferences, but I heard about him from time to time from Uncle Rudolph. He's a pretty funny guy. Even though he got in fights with Batler-kun all the time, he always paid close attention to what his son was up to. That's true. He spoke to me about it as well. I think even Asumu-sama was exasperated by it. She thought his popularity with the girls at school and the unceasing trouble this caused must have been because of Rudolph-sama's blood. And Jessica-chan too. Maybe she built up a huge number of friends, both boys and girls, and that she was always right in the middle of things. When I talked with myself, I could see that this was no exaggeration. This proved that the two I'd looked down upon were much more attractive human beings than I was. At first, I tried to imitate those two. It was pretty ridiculous. I thought that by joking around and speaking rudely, I could get the same charm they had. You did that? It's a bit hard to picture. It was miserable. I wish I could forget that time for the rest of my life. In any event, I quickly realized that I could never become truly attracted by imitating them like that. The reason I had no charm was because of my cowardice. Under the pretense of respecting people and acting to fit in with the general atmosphere, I was always running away. I resolved myself to overcome that fall and be reborn. I finally understood the shell I was in, and I swore to break out of it. Every time my determination began to waver, I'd remember that day. That day I saw you two forget about me entirely and play around happily. And the fact that those eyes of yours, which I always assumed were attracted to me, never noticed me at all. I made an oath. This time, I wanted to be the one who caught your attention for real. The one reflected in your eyes. That's actually the first thing I felt when I fell in love with you. Sounds like it was pretty complicated for you. On that day, my desire for revenge against the two of you who ignored me and played together, no, against you alone, suddenly transformed into true love. However, I swear this to God. Even though that was the reason I first started to take you seriously, there are no lies in the way I feel about you now. I swear to love you for all my life. I will not lie about that for anyone or anything. And I'm prepared to take you as my wife, even if it means having the entire world as my enemy. George-san, that's the confession I wanted to make to you beforehand. Before now, I've called you my first love at first sight. That was a lie. It was only my selfish, twisted... That doesn't matter. Shannon smiled, but she spoke forcefully enough to cut through George's words. Is there some rule saying that people can't get together just because they weren't each other's first love? Is it betrayal to forget the first person you fell in love with? Love isn't that simple. Well, it might be simple. After all, love is easy. At all times. Whatever you feel now, only the honest feelings you feel now can tell you the right answer. So things of the past or how relationships started aren't important at all. Then confessing to all that was wrong with me? No. I'm a bit glad to learn that even George-san, who has always perfected everything, has a human side to him. And I'm kinda glad that I'm the only person you've told this to. Thank you. I was only able to become who I am because of you. Me too. I am as I am because of you, George-san. So please, tell me without holding back. What kind of a husband and wife will we be? And what kind of future will we build together? When I have you as my wife, I'll become an even more accomplished businessman than my father. And after several challenges and adventures, I hope to find the limits of my potential. I'll reach that peak together with you. The view from there will be something no one can show you but me. It sounds fun. I'll be with you wherever you go. Of course, it will only be an adventure as a businessman. I'd like to create many things that only a couple can make. And what could that be? Let's have some kids. Yes, my husband. I'd like 3 of them at the least. At least 1 boy and 1 girl. He's got plans. And what if all 3 are boys? Then the next one might be a girl. We can have a 4th one. It doesn't matter how many. Let's enjoy the adventure of bringing them up together. And when those children eventually leave the nest, they'll make us some great-grandchildren. Before we know it, we'll reach a boisterous old age surrounded by a whole crowd of kids and grandchildren. It sounds like fun. Wonder what kind of a grandpa you'll be. And I wonder what kind of grandma you'll be. However, I'll always keep loving you. And when we eventually pass away, surrounded by our vast family, George, you are thinking a lot of years too early. This is like 60 to 80 years down the line or something. 50 if you're unlucky, I don't know. Expands. And when we eventually pass away, surrounded by our vast family, our lives will stretch behind us, unmatched by anyone else's. George didn't just talk about his love of the present. He swore to love her soul until the final moment when the lid of their coffins would be shut. Then George took a small box out of his pocket. Even without opening it, she knew what was inside. He took it out with a motion that was even more natural than the one he'd practiced in the airport bathroom, and it was overflowing with masculine charm. Sayo. Yes. Let's get married. Yes. Please take this ring and put it on your finger. Yes, George-san. That ring, which glistened divinely even in the dim light of the arbor, passed from George's hand to Shannon's finger. Of course, Shannon had already decided which finger to put it on. I swore to resolutely stand against my fate, any fate that may attempt to stand in the way of our future. George proclaimed that he would reveal their engagement to the entire family on the next day. Oh no, death flag, George, don't do it! My parents might criticize this marriage. You have to go tell them right now. However, I will not let them stop us. I'm going to inform them of our engagement, not ask for their permission. If Mother says that she won't allow our marriage, I plan to have myself disinherited and leave this family together. I've been prepared for that since long ago. I swore once again to resolutely stand against all the fates that get in the way of our future. George said it aloud. So Shannon said the same thing. Me too. I swore to stand against all fates that get in the way of our future, George said. I mean, you say that real, but I think episode 5 had a lot of interesting, stuff before the murders. A lot of the Nazi stuff was pretty cool, and you get a lot of cool stuff in episode 6 as well. I mean, we got, the Erica Maria showdown. You gonna tell me that wasn't great? You can tell me that wasn't a really close, exciting fight? Battler-san, when will the crime start? I've just about had it with this love show. Be quiet and watch. Sure, fine. I'd hate to yawn and let some spectacular bit of foreshadowing slip by. Do you have no love? Are there any mystery novels that accept love as proof? No, there aren't. Erica laughed coldly and stared down at the two in the game board. Elmer watched her quietly. Erica thought she felt a touch of pity in his gaze, and she averted her eyes uncomfortably. I do understand, more or less. Love can at least become a motive for murder. I can interpret the scene beneath the arbor to represent a possible motive for the crime if their engagement is somehow impeded. Then again, no matter how much people talk of love with words that aren't read, it's all just an illusion. That's sad. So you could never love a human without proof given to you by a witch. Please put an end to this frivolous love talk. I'm your enemy, not a friend to whom you can talk about love. Just for the hell of it. I can't understand you at all right now. What on earth did you figure out? Weren't you and Beato always insulting, trying to kill each other? What kind of truth could you have reached to make you change your emotions regarding her? Please don't tell me that feelings of true love is sprouted from your murderous rivalry or anything like that, okay? It's just a Stockholm Syndrome. Definitely. Lady Erica, let us have him continue the game's progression. Boring love scenes such as this are best finished quickly. Ah, you got a point there. Sorry for butting in. Come on, let's move on. Making enemies of people in and outside of the game board, I see. It's Shannon. I've come back. Indeed. The log for today has not yet been filled out. You didn't really miss anything too much. She accepted the proposal. That's pretty much it, really. Yes, I'll do that right away. And good. Thanks for keeping an eye out while I was gone. That was a pretty long break. Ken had already noticed there was a silvery glint coming from the ring finger on Shannon's left hand. Then I will retire. Permanently. I'm not coming back tomorrow, sorry. Please do not hesitate to wake me if anything occurs. Good night, Genji-sama. Genji disappeared off to the waiting room. After that, only Shannon and Ken remained. Thanks for giving me some time. I'll stay here for the rest, so you can go to sleep now. So it's my turn next. Yeah. Sorry, but we aren't going to lose. And I won't lose either. Even though you've always been a coward and let my lady take the lead until now. Wasn't you who taught me, Nei-san? What did I teach you? The past is immaterial when it comes to love. The present is all that matters. If that's true, then I think my present is in no way inferior to yours, Nei-san. I mean, they've been dating for a while, unlike you and Jessica. You just outright just flat out told her, I love you, yesterday. Actually, no, today. Right? I think it was today, yeah. I don't think that was a past thing. I think it was literally today. Sharon and Karen glared at each other with serious eyes. That period of tension vanished when Shannon chuckled. Yeah, that's good. You and my lady have to give it your all. If you do end up together, make sure you build up a relationship wonderful enough that the rest of us can cheer you on with all our hearts. Well, you do have a huge lead on me. There's no helping that. That's what you get for your cowardice before now. I know. That is my sin. Shannon and Cannon fished around in their pockets and drew out 2 small things that glittered gold. They looked like the left and right wings of a gold butterfly. We are furniture. In order to become human and receive the miracle that allows us to love, we must rely on a miracle of magic once again. To think that our brooch would actually prove useful. It's the only magic within our reach. It was the golden butterfly brooch, which Beatrice had once given to Shannon, and I think Juniper farted, which is why I'm stuttering on my words. Ugh. And given to Shannon in the hopes of creating love between her and George. Shannon then gave it to Cannon, but he let his emotions get a hold of him and crushed it into pieces. So the 2 wings they held were brought together. Trying to hide it, are you? Trying to hide it by shifting, huh? Oh, I know. I know what you did. I'm not stupid. Junie, you're making it hard to get a good angle on you here, honey. Come on. This is your stream. Alright, there. Good enough. So the 2 wings they held were brought together. It would regain the form of a beautiful butterfly. Then I'll be back soon. After all, they've asked me to play cards with them. Yeah. Good luck. I'm sure my lady will be happy. It's a bit embarrassing. Enjoy that feeling. Cannon left the servant room. He went to go see Jessica and tell her what he had determined to do. Shannon quietly watched him go. The fragment of the brooch in the engagement ring lit off a gold and silver glint. That takes me back. That's something I gave Shannon, if I recall. I always wondered if they lost it after Cannon stepped on it, but it seems they still had it the whole time. That's the golden butterfly brooch, isn't it? I read about the magical brooch that can save a love relationship in Featherine Sound's book. That had been the first time that Beatrice, Witch of the Forest, had interacted with a human and given them her power. Bit by bit, she had transformed from a mere ghost to the ruler of the mansion at night, and by making the servants believe in her, she had wiped away the anti-magic power. And then it eventually became possible for her to appear openly in front of Shannon, whose magic resistance had grown particularly low when it began to believe in the existence of Beatrice. To Beato, who had been a... God, I can't talk. I need more water. Thirst. To Beato, who had been unable to interact with anyone for many years, this conversation with Shannon must have been especially fun. That's why I generously gave her the butterfly brooch. I was in quite a good mood. It is no common thing for a heartless witch such as myself to be so gracious. But it's wonderful. You brought a pair of future lovers together. Of course, I did not do it to pamper them. It was in exchange for smashing that hateful spirit mirror that had repressed my magical powers. Thanks to that, I was able to regain much of my power all in one go. So what, in this universe you didn't set them up just so they would fail later? But then, one night, purple lightning smashed the shrine. Those of the surrounding islands called it an evil omen. Oh, now that I think about it, that must have been a prelude to Beatrice Sama's resurrection. Kumasawa had the rest of the night off, so she had let Erika talk her into drinking a bit, and was chatting about the legend of Akujikishima and Beatrice in a happy, tipsy mood. Erika would nod from time to time, but besides this, she listened in complete silence. She wasn't actually taking notes, but she was gathering information on the whiteboard inside her head. Then she frowned as though noticing something out of place and held up her hand. Wait a second. Yes? That shrine was built by a traveling Shugenja monk to seal up the evil spirits of Akujikishima. Isn't that right? Yes, that is correct. It was the one who possessed a vast supernatural power, and who placed that power within the placed it within the shrine as a sacred mirror to seal the evil spirits. Something feels off about that. Why would a shrine to seal the evil spirits of Akujikishima also seal Beatrice? Well, That's because the sacred mirror's spiritual power. I see. So is this really convenient sacred mirror that works on both even spirits from the east and witches from the west. Got it. I'm still not satisfied, but I'll back off there for now. What I don't understand is why Beatrice can't stand spider webs. I can't either. I don't like spiders. Maybe she's just arachnophobic. Have you thought of that? According to the legend, the evil spirits of Akujikishima despise spiderwebs, so they were apparently used as wards against evil in the surrounding islands. This is the vocal version played in game. I don't remember a vocal version of this one, no. I don't think so. If you mean like this song playing here. I don't think I've even heard it. It doesn't sound familiar to me. In fact, spiders are a useful bug. They're not a bug. They're arachnids. There's nothing strange about the fact that island farmers had treasured them. It's very possible that they were then tied to the story of evil spirits and became known as charms against evil. Leading to a tradition of people treating this useful bug with care throughout the generations. Huh. Weird. Her name isn't Erika. Stop trying to gaslight people into thinking it is. But that's just the legend of Akujikishima. The game Legend of Akujikishima. Thanks for watching! The origins for the legend of the witch, Beatrice, came after Ushimura Kinzo moved to this island. One rumor sprouted about the mysterious legend of the gold, as well as the witch mistress who gave it to him. In other words, the evil spirits of Akujikishima and the golden witch Beatrice were originally completely different things. And yet, the stories treat them like they're the same. But, well now. The evil spirits of Akujikishima couldn't stand spiderwebs, so neither could Beatrice. That sort of reasoning has been applied all over the place. When it was pointed out that this was strange, Kumasawa was lost for an answer. The doorknob begins with Sen's study has a scorpion magic circle drawn on it, which represents a charm against evil in Western society. That's why the Western witch Beatrice can't touch it. It's also interacted. I can understand that part. But there's no reason for Beatrice to dislike spiderwebs. I don't remember spiderwebs ever being included among things witches can't stand. On the contrary, wouldn't spiders be the friends and minions of a witch? But, well, in my opinion, those two legends about the evil spirits of Akujikishima and the witch Beatrice have been mixed together a little. In fact, maybe they've been fully fused together as one. The legend of Akujikishima is a fairy tale created by the fishermen fearful of reefs in the Rakenjima area. However, there was no visual image to go along with those evil spirits. Were they people or monsters or ghosts without legs? There's no mental picture of them. People are bad at imagining things without visuals. That's when the legend of the witch called Beatrice came in. I was always gonna slap you. A witch is a lot easier to picture than evil spirits. And on top of that, Kinzo-san had a portrait of Beatrice drawn and displayed. In other words, the lack of a visual image, which was the one weak point in the legend of Akujikishima, was finally completed. Since then, perhaps the two legends have been mixed together. Well, I wonder. Oh, it is a bit confusing for an old lady such as myself. Kumasawa's way of saying, please shut up, and just poured me another glass. Kumasawa laughed to smooth it over, wiping away a cold sweat. She might have seemed confused, but she actually did understand what Erika was saying. In truth, she had been vaguely aware of how the legend of Akujikishima, which had been around before Ushimura Kinzo had come to Rakenjima, and the legend of the Golden Witch, the story of the woman who had given Kinzo a vast quantity of gold, had both transformed. She didn't want to acknowledge it, but she knew. The setting, where Beatrice hated the spirit mirror and spiderwebs, this had been based on the ancient legend of Akujikishima. The evil spirits part of that legend had just been replaced by the witch of the portrait. So, if there really was someone claiming to be the Golden Witch Beatrice, I'd really like to ask her whether she actually does hate spiderwebs or not. What happens when she touches them? It is said that witches and their minions receive burns when they touch spiderwebs, so that is probably what would happen, I suppose. That's not bad. A splendid witch trial. If the spiderweb touches her and she gets burned, then she's an evil spirit, not a witch. And if nothing happens, then it proves she's just a human. In other words, whether she's burned or not, it will prove that the Golden Witch doesn't exist. The legend of the witch is nothing more than the legend of Akujikishima reboiled with a new face on it. The reboiled one. Well, simply by the existence of the legend itself, this level of reasoning is possible for Furuta Erika. What do you think, everyone? You stink! Though only the two of them were in the lounge, Erika faced in the direction of invisible audience. Would have been, and shrugged. And just as Erika imagined, The targets of her comments actually were there, listening in. Spiderwebs. They burn if you touch them? When Beato the Elder snapped her fingers, a graceful silver spider slipped down from the ceiling, hanging by a transparent thread. Afterwards, only a single silver strand remained. Timidly, Beato stretched her finger out towards the spider's string, then she touched it. I'm fine. You are? Huh? Beato the Elder lifted up a white, pale finger, and after showing it to her little sister, she traced the silver string with it. There was a stench like a single hair being burnt. Once again, she held her finger up in front of Beato, was stunned. There was a thin burn line, as though someone had traced it across it with a razor. What's going on? That's what I would like to know. Why are you unharmed? I don't know. What I don't understand is why you do get burned by touching a spiderweb. I do not know. It has always been like that since I first gained consciousness. Then, are you... Beato hesitated. However, her question was clear. No, I'm not one of the evil spirits of Akujikishima. I'm Beatrice, ruler of Rakenjiba's night. Even I do not know why I have the same weakness as this island's evil spirits of old. Are spiderwebs the only things you can't handle? As this Erica person said, I cannot touch the doorknob to Kinzo's study. That scorpion magic circle burns me. For me, trying to open the door to that study is like trying to pick a red-hot horseshoe out of a fire. What about you? Huh? Scorpion magic circles, you mean? The older sister snapped her fingers again. When she did, the surrounding scene bent and twisted, and they had suddenly moved to the place in front of Kinzo's study. And there was the doorknob engraved with a scorpion magic circle. Those who research magic must have a refuge sealed off from both human and spiritual disturbances. It's no surprise that Kinzo chose to seal up his study and place a charm such as this here. And unfortunately, that affects me as well. She gently grasped the doorknob. As she did, a violent burning sound, unbelievably stronger than the one caused by the spiderweb, rang out. Oh, Ane-sama, are you okay? Your hand, Her hand had been horribly burnt, and Beato couldn't help but avert her eyes. Fear not. This scratch will heal quickly. Apparently it would heal by itself if left alone. The older sister seemed to heal at an inhuman rate. However, it seems that you can handle it just fine. She timidly poked the doorknob. Nothing happened. Slowly, she touched it with her entire palm, but she felt nothing but a pleasantly cool sensation. Strange. Though you are my double, you were different from me in several ways. While I might be able to touch the doorknob, if I ever get burnt like you did, I don't think I'd heal that easily. It's as though you're a normal human. Yes, even I find it a little hard to believe that I'm a witch. I can't use magic like you, I can't get strange burns or heal from them later. Father believed that I was a great witch reborn, but I cannot believe that. Who are you? I'm Beatrice. I was born for Father's sake. And you, Ane-sama? I'm also Beatrice. I used magic to give Kinzo gold, and later became a soul in the formless witch that haunts this island. Just who on earth are we? Unlike me, you seem to be a being in possession of a body. Huh? Really? Yes. I thought of it while listening to that Erica person. I'm a witch who can use magic but has no body. And you are a witch who has a body but can use no magic. Eventually, perhaps we will become one, each filling in what the other lacks to form the true, complete Beatrice. It seemed to make sense. Both of the Beatrices were missing something. If they became one, then they would surely be very close to the Beatrice that Balor desired. Do you want to try? Huh? Oh, that's your hand. The older sister slowly raised her palm and held it out before Beato. The large burn from a second ago really had started to heal already. It may be possible for us to become one. I want to know as well. By becoming one with you, I want to learn about my future self. Beato also raised her hand slowly, and the two hands touched. But nothing happened. Perhaps this meant that, while they were fated to become one eventually, that time had not yet come. For me, being burned by spiderwebs is perfectly normal. However, you didn't even know about it. In the same way, you say that the reason you were born was for your father's sake. Apparently, that father is Ushimiya Balor. I know him as a rare guest who only comes a few times a year, but I cannot understand what connection you and I have with such an infrequent visitor. Surely, we must learn more about each other. Yeah, you're right. I get the feeling that learning about each other will lead us to something very important. On the other side lies the single future Beatrice. No, it may be more correct to call her the true form we are meant to possess. With her hands still joined, the two Beatri swore to fill in the parts of the other act and regain their single form. Bit by bit, Beata was walking down the path that led to the former Beatrice. Wholesome scene transition. And with that, we're almost done with day one. And I think that's going to be a good place to stop. Just because it's already been about 2.5 hours. That's usually around my cutoff point. That's usually around what I aim for, if not 2. Oh, we're also back to the closed room with whoever's trapped in there. Do we have anything new in here? Oh, hey. Yep, Elder Sister's been added. Yep, that's all stuff that we know. Ugh. Sword and sword. No. No, that's episode 7 you're thinking of. That character does not show up at all until episode 7. Same thing goes with the other character that one interacts with a lot. They're both episode 7 characters, so look forward to that. I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same people. Okay then.